Yay.
We're live.
Let's
go.
What's up?
What up? What up?
What up?
All right. Yo, let's start with some quick intros, right? We got to tell everybody who everybody is. Everybody who everybody
We are
is.
live.
Go ahead, Ab.
Look at us.
We're here.
I'll share it.
We're here and we're there. That's what that
I
means,
go
basically.
First, Bobby Jones.
Please do.
Go ahead.
Sure, this
What's
Whatever.
happening, everybody? You know, this is your boy, Evan Anderson, photographer, videographer of UnleashU now.
Extraordinaire.
Lame.
There you go. This is what we do, as you can see. Let's get it. UnleashU now. Love you.
I'll go next since I'm the.
You don't know that he's gotten some applause going on right now. He don't know it.
We can't hear your fancy stuff.
I know it. He's
Hi,
neglected.
I'm Margaret. I'm our event planner, and that's what I do. I plan our events.
No, she is the hero of UnleashU now.
The extra mile here.
All that. Mr. Favor, you up next, sir?
What's up?
Little intro. I guess everybody. We're on your pages. I
Yeah.
guess everybody knows who you are. Let me
Yeah,
intro
everybody
myself.
knows.
Michael Faber
We're
here.
like some random people.
I like long walks on the boardwalk. Pina coladas a little warmed up, and nice sensual talk late at night on Cinemax. Your turn.
What the fuck?
I'm kidding. I don't really. I don't have Cinemax as a channel. So
Yeah.
Just
Shout out
saying.
Aquafina.
Y'all see my expression? This dude is so weird. But I love him though.
Always.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bobby Jones. We are here at the Extra Mile Studio, and we are going to do this pretty consistently for you guys, hoping to come live often and bring you some dope content. But tonight we're going to talk about some pretty awesome stuff too, because we are going to come at some of the stuff that's clouding and killing the personal development space. Stuff that we've been hearing, and we just feel like it's bad advice, it's bad information, and it's sending people down the wrong path.
Mm.
I like that. Yeah, your boy Patrick Campbell said, "What's up?" Ayo.
Hey,
Tell him,
yo,
hey.
Pat, what's up, dude?
What
What
up,
up,
Pat?
Pat?
Slide through. Come on through.
Come
Shout
on
out Pat,
through.
man.
You're a
Shout out
spectator.
Pat for
What
no
you got going
reason.
on?
Shout out Pat, man.
What you got it wound up in the wheel?
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
A little-
This dude's always
Sponsor
wound up.
Aquafina.
Are you good though?
All right, I'm gonna be.
Are you
For the-
telling me you're leashed right
I
now?
am. The whole thing is be unleashed, but this thing's gone. Oh my God.
It's the one thing you can't do here is be leashed, and that's what you do.
That's what happened. That's what happened. Anyone watching on the Facebook or the YouTube, or the YouTube? I sounded really old.
The YouTube.
Definitely
The
hashtag you're watching. I can see you, so well, that'd be weird. But I can see if you comment or anything, or have any questions or want to add your input. Definitely throw it in there, and we'll be glad to throw it out there and talk about it.
for
But
sure.
what's
Absolutely.
blocking or killing? I like to say killing the personal growth and professional growth space. I
Yeah.
like that topic because that's something I like to speak on often.
Mm.
Murderers. Because there's murderers out there of our potential.
Shoot.
Killing people's dreams and goals.
Dream
In
suckers.
fact, matter of fact, look, let's start with this, okay? Because we're going to get started here. I get this call. It's a local number, right?
Okay.
And I'm not going to bring up the name, okay? But it's somebody trying to sell me on their course. It's trying to sell me on their event, right?
Mm.
Now, this is somebody in the space that I went to their event, right? And at the beginning of the event hadn't even started. We hadn't seen anything. I hadn't gotten any value brought. And they're trying to sell me more stuff at the beginning.
Mm.
Like I hadn't even gotten what you already sold me. Like you
Right.
haven't even delivered on your first
Mm.
promise yet,
That's some real shit right there.
right?
Yeah, no, that stuff scares me. I'm always like, whenever they're doing that, I'm like, is it really not that good?
Yeah,
First,
that's
I thought you were
bullshit.
talking about me, and I was just like, I didn't try
I'm
to say
like,
it on him.
Nashville,
no.
April.
But to me, it's like if you're trying to sell me before anything, I'm always like, is it really not that good? And that's where you're trying to get me now. Right. It starts making me. It's like when someone's like, "Yo, this would cost $84,000, but today you get it for $4." I'm like, what? Like it's really not that good, bro.
Your numbers are wrong.
Yeah, right? Like something's weird about that. So,
You're
yeah.
not doing the math right, I guarantee you.
but that's where the idea, like this space is just money hungry, and a lot of people start thinking that they just want you to throw in money and not really give anything for you or to do that or for you to grow.
Right.
And that's why everybody starts thinking that. And that's why I talk about talking about this in the space, because if we don't, it's like we're co-signing the bullshit in the space.
Ooh,
Yeah.
true.
So I don't ever want to think I co-sign the bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Facts.
100%. Thoughts on that?
Absolutely.
Especially
Facts.
in the event. I mean, because you've been putting together high quality events for a long time now. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
That-
Well, your motive is when people get there, at least in the first 24 hours, you're delivering more value than you promised when they signed up before the event ends.
Yeah.
You want to show that.
Gotta deliver that value, baby.
Yeah.
I delivered.
Before
He's trying to get
I'm
unleashed
selling
over there, guys.
before I'm selling anyone on anything. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You want people to come back.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was crazy. I'm at the event, like first day. You know how like a lot of those conferences, they'll have. Bro, you good?
I am.
You're all the way leashed.
Very
I'm fine.
You know that little thing in Mario that just like be like, it comes at you and it's on that chain.
Oh my God.
That's you right now.
What up, Doug? And Sasha says that she loves that you are drinking a watermelon Red Bull.
She already knows. Sasha, what's up, girl?
We don't do the watermelon.
What up?
We don't do watermelon around here.
That is so weird, by the way, man.
I'm free. I'm unleashed.
He's good.
Again.
He's good.
All right.
But anyway, so what I was saying is, like the first night, you know how they have those like the little icebreaker events, the
Mhm.
mixers or whatever, and that's the moment. Like we're at that part of the event. I haven't met anybody yet. I haven't really seen anything brought, and they're trying to close me into another program or
Right.
another event right away.
I love that they use a local number. Tricky a little bit.
Oh yeah, I
No,
know,
it's not your
right?
aunt. It's me. Buy my course. I got 70% of it from someone else, but I'm sure it's good.
Let's go into that.
What's that?
Let's go into that.
Right, let's go into that.
I mean, just the copycat, like
Oh
the
my
the
God.
idea of like, let me go take this course, and then let me take this course. You know what I mean?
Right.
With me, and then sell it to somebody else.
Right.
Oh, 100%.
Like they did it.
Oh, listen, people will try to get close just to learn you, just to be able to try to sell you. Right. And the problem is like, it sucks when it happens. And when I was younger, I used to let it really infuriate me when I was newer in the game. Like, that's my stuff. Right.
Mhm.
But you realize like everything, I got what I got from something and
yeah.
someone. Right.
Yep.
Like, so, and at the end of the day, here's the deal. You know, the steps where you go from this to this, to this, to this, right? Like we know the steps, how people transform, like the transformational process. We know how people go through it. If you just come and take one thing, take that and use it, it's gonna fail at some point, or you're gonna get horrible reviews because you're not gonna know the transformation process. So it's just gonna be like, yeah, and it's over. Like, good luck. I hope you enjoy, and people are gonna feel incomplete.
For sure.
Right.
All right. So that's the problem with it. But there is a lot of copycats out there.
Oh.
Yeah, but I like what you said because nothing's like, I mean, come on. Like, even if you put it like blocked out everything else and use your own original concepts to come up with whatever it is you feel is the best program ever, it's going to have some repeated shit in it that somebody else has already said and already thought of. You know what I mean? So like, we're all a reflection of everything that we've been taught, you know, and somebody, you know, they got credit for that at one point.
Right. And it's like what I always think about is that we see the things that work for us and that fit us. Right. And then we'll take and kind of craft into our own thing these different pieces that when you put it together, you have your puzzle. And then you'll show and preach and teach your puzzle because that works for you.
Right.
So pieces are going to work for someone else.
Yeah.
And they're going to take those pieces with the other pieces they took over here and they're going to create their puzzle. It's when you just try to, like, there's some people like, all right, Eric Thomas did Thank God It's Monday, right? Like that was Eric Thomas's shit. Right now, this guy has Thank God It's Monday. I'm like, stop it. Right. Like you didn't take a piece. You tried to take his puzzle and make it yours.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, don't do that. All right. Like that. You can do it. It's just shitty. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like when they have those quote arts, you know, like those memes that are like quote arts. This I know people in space that literally take the person's name off that said it and put it out with their logo on it.
Yeah.
I don't like even putting someone else's quote and my name near
wild.
it.
Right.
Because I'm like, I don't want them to think I'm trying. That quote was done.
Right.
We're not reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah.
We're just trying to find ways to make it smoother and better. Right. So I think sometimes that's a lot of ego and fear of not being good enough in the space.
Yeah.
So
For
when
sure.
I see that, I used to get mad, but now I feel bad.
Right. Exactly.
I'm like, bro, have confidence, man.
And that's it. But that same thing, like that will expose you because people are going to check your authenticity and your ability to be genuine. Well, I mean, even if it doesn't come through in a like exposure,
right?
You know what I mean? It's going to come through the fact that people aren't following you, doing the business with you that you expected to come from it. And by the way, you guys ain't even doing it the Michael Scott way, where you leave the Wayne Gretzky name there and then just cross it out and put Michael Scott below it. You miss 100% of the shots that you do not take.
Ain't lying.
Gotta shout out Art. What's up, Art?
What's up?
He said awesome show, guys. So appreciate you, bro.
What up, Art? Appreciate you.
Hey guys,
First,
comment.
debut of me and Evan.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, it wouldn't be the same without y'all. But comment, guys. What are you guys seeing in the space that's just bugging the heck out of you too? And we'll try to expand on that as well, because I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that's it's turning people off is what it's doing. You know what I mean? So when you do have something of value to offer, now you got to beat down walls of resistance because people have been scammed. They've been sold. I was talking to a guy recently who spent $7,000. The guy was like, I guarantee you results. If you don't get the results, you'll get your money back. Dude did not get the results. My man was like, that sucks, bro. I was like, dang. I'm serious. This is a conversation I just had recently. And so, for me, like, that's the reason why when you do genuinely want to have an impact on somebody, half the time, because you feel a responsibility to impact them too, right? It's like your moral obligation to help them. So when you have that want and desire, but you got to beat down a wall that's created by scam artists, you know what I mean? It makes it that much tougher to have an impact and to help people.
Todd Gross says, "What's up, guys?"
Todd
Yo,
Gross,
Todd!
my man.
Hopefully,
I'm
I
excited.
know. I
for
hope
you
to
guys
meet
for
you,
this
my friend.
weekend.
hopefully we see you Friday, bro.
Yeah, hope to.
At the men's retreat.
Yes, sir,
You'll be
yes,
there
sir.
with us.
That would be awesome.
These guys will be there.
I will be there.
You're not a guy. You'll
I'll
be
be
you'll be
sir.
stalking
I'll
around.
be secretively there.
All right.
Sir.
Setting shit up.
The one of the things that gets me in the space, all right, so I'll start, right. One of the things that really bothers me in the space is this the idea of everything you need is already inside you. That bothers me. I don't like that.
I don't like that either. I feel like they got that from the old, like, what is it? Who's the artist over there in Italy? It was either who did the David? Michelangelo?
Yeah.
So Michelangelo's concept was these beings were inside the marble and he had to unleash them. No, he had to uncover them. He had to release them from the marble or the stone, right? And so I've seen a lot of people use that concept in like, let's carve away the crap to find the greatness in you. And
Right.
I don't agree with that because I've been taught so much stuff.
Right.
So how was it in me the whole time?
Right.
If I was taught, if that was the case, then I could have just stared in the mirror and taught myself this stuff the whole time.
Right.
See, I'm going to disagree with you guys.
Ooh, I love
Because
it.
I think that transforming your life is a powerful thing, and if you didn't have it in you, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. Like you have to have some sort of something in you to even want to grow and change to make that beautiful artwork in general. Like that's in you.
Jordan Shuba, what up?
Jordan.
But listen, we hate that quote where it's like it's not for everyone, because it's not for everyone.
Nothing is for everyone.
Exactly, but certain people have it in them to. If it was for everyone, everyone would be sitting here doing it.
No, so this is where
I think that's different.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Right.
Brian Tracy has a quote that says, "You have everything within you right now to be successful," but that means the reception of learning and training, right?
For sure, I agree with you, but in some extent, we have it in us to do it.
Correct.
We have the ability.
We don't have the tools.
We have the option to have the ability to do something.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things we don't like.
I feel like it's a word play right now.
No, because this is like, all right, so if it was always in me, I could have been this guy 10, 15 years ago, and I can't be.
Right, but you're right. It is a wordplay thing, but the concept is bigger, right? So the concept is bigger than the words. And the idea that, like you already have it all, that's not like practical.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So for example, like if you were in grade school, then what was the point of them teaching you grammar, right? If you already, you know what I mean? Like if you already had
within me.
It's already, you know what I mean? So like at the same time, like it's
and we know it's not.
But you had that ability to learn it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is
right. You have the ability to learn what's not in you already.
But what I'm trying to say is you had that in you.
Comment on this one, guys. We've got a controversy over here.
You had that ability.
Comment on this one, guys.
You have the ability to gain what you don't have.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Tough one.
I've done plenty of that. Just kidding.
But then that's like taking that whole other phrase of pouring into someone, right? Like you can't pour into me, I'm full.
Right.
It's not true.
But that,
right.
Girl, that's literally your argument.
That's not my argument. My argument isn't that I'm full. I'm saying if I didn't have what it takes to change my life and let people pour into me consistently, constantly changing, if I didn't have that ability within me to learn the tools and resources, that's already in me.
That piece.
She presents a good argument.
But the rest of it isn't. Right? Like you have the ability to learn and grow.
I think we're on the same page. We're just not saying
But you don't have the stuff in
together.
You have the ability.
Evan, what do you think
to
here,
adapt
sir?
and grow at all times.
I need
I'm
you
not
to
sure it's a tough
pour
one,
into
man.
this
I mean,
conversation.
Because if I never read a book or listened to a mentor or
Ooh,
got
let's
the
use a
course,
sports example.
right? Like I wouldn't be able to do it.
wait, hold on. So let me hear the main. What's the main argument right here? I need to just make sure we're clear on
The one quote goes like, "Everything you ever need is within you already."
Ooh.
right. And you're
And I
saying
don't
that
I'm
agree.
saying not everything is in you that you need already. The ability to have
Right,
everything
that
you
thing.
need.
the ability.
That thing
You're
is
saying
in
that the
you.
ability
That's
is
one
in
thing.
you already.
That's not one thing.
So
That's like the whole stance on what you're taking, though. Is like
No.
it's not already.
Comment. We need some comments
you
on
don't
this one,
have
guys.
it, right? You don't have it. You have the ability, but you don't have it. So
Right.
you need
so
to
it's
learn and
in
grow
you
and learn.
already.
No, you just
have
have the
that
ability
already. You have that drive.
You
You have
have-
that fire.
sure.
You,
You don't.
need to.
No,
you
not
need to
necessarily.
focus on the
because-
Not
resource.
necessarily. Not necessarily. You don't necessarily have the drive and the fire.
I'm
What
just saying.
what created your drive and fire? Were you born like, yo, I'm gonna do this, bro? Like, no, none of
No.
us were. Right? Something.
Inky Johnson.
Now, something.
I didn't. That dude's an animal. I don't
right.
understand that guy's
But it was
vision and
because
desire at
how
like
he-
6
how
years
he
old.
how he came up. He was
Yeah.
like, this life is not mine,
Yeah.
and it will
Right.
never be. Right? And
That is
whatever
kinda
came my
crazy.
way, it was not going to deter. I was going to find the good and be able to do
Right.
something because I was made for something.
Because he
Right.
had it
Right.
in him, regardless of how he was brought
No,
up.
because he was
I
willing
get
to
what
develop
I
it.
like what Margaret's saying, but I think that there's a way to bring because I think you're agreeing too at the same time because
I am for sure.
because
Yeah,
it's
no.
like there's this desire to receive
Right.
that will be required to learn,
Right.
be taught, be
But
Right.
you
coachable,
need to
be
already
trained.
have that.
But you have to
What?
bring that stuff into you as well.
I agree.
And that's his argument, right?
I
Like
agree.
So it's a little bit of
Right. Like I'm saying, like you keep saying it's already in you. And I'm like, but it wasn't for me.
right, you've been taught something. So
Right.
so
There's
Right,
things I've
yeah.
been taught, and there's things that happened out here that made me grow or develop certain things that were not there before.
Mhm.
Right. So it wasn't in me. Circumstances and situations created things and
Right.
made me want to develop things
I
and
agree with
learn
that.
things.
I agree
Right.
with that.
It's like, because if I never read or do or listen to any mentors or have deep conversations
Mhm.
with you guys, like, am I going to just grow? Like, is that
No.
promised?
No.
Right. And I'd say no, because it's not always in me. So one of the things in the personal growth space is like, you don't have to do anything else. You have everything you need within you. And I'm like, stop that.
No, I agree with
Right.
that.
Because if you look around, and you go, my life's not the way I want it. I always say something you're doing is causing that. Right. And action is causing that. So we need to switch your actions, habits, or patterns to be
Yeah, for
able to
sure.
change that.
Right.
And then we have to bring your acknowledgement to that. Right. Like, and then understanding comes from it. And then things can change.
Right.
And I don't want to just say we all have it in us. And then, because then what's the thing? Like when I was a fuck up, it was like, man, I have everything I need inside me. I'm just a piece of shit. Right. It was like, no, I had to learn I was even a piece of shit.
Right.
Mm,
But you needed the ability to learn that.
We have the ability. That does not
That's
mean
what
we
I'm
have everything
saying.
in
That's
us.
the point.
But
I'm
that's not
making.
everything within
No,
us.
I don't think it's everything within us, but that's the first point of getting everything within us.
you gotta hit it harder.
Boom.
Sorry. I might
So we
have
got
somebody,
Brent
but-
Shot says, what's up, Brent? You're supposed to be
What
here,
up,
bro.
Brent?
Comment.
We miss you. We miss you.
Doug says it's not all in you. You need to learn and grow.
Right, but how do you get
You
there?
have a desire to grow that needs to be fed, but we don't always have the desire. I did not always have the desire to be better. There was a while where I thought I was better. I didn't have the desire. I was like, I'm the fucking man, bro. Then I learned I was nowhere near the man.
I wanted to be better at bad shit for a while
Yeah,
too. You
damn
know what I
right.
mean?
This guy. Of course.
Sasha says it's a matter of getting out of your own way.
Mm.
Mary's in the house. What up, Mary?
What up?
Jordan says Faber hit the nail
she
on the
say
head.
getting
I
out of your
100%
way?
agree. Mary said he sure did.
Yeah.
Melissa says you can have the drive, but I definitely have grown way more in the past year, no matter how strong my drive. Also, my
Sure.
drive came from being an underdog. She
Mm.
said that only because
The
Bobby's
underdog
not
entrepreneur.
Underdog advantage, baby.
Let's
go.
Y'all think
She's
this
going
come
the
down
extra
to like
mile.
getting out of your comfort zone?
Oh, for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Oh, for
Like
sure.
that's 100%. Like that's. I feel like that's like.
So there's the
crucial
two
when it
sayings are
comes to
so
this.
close,
They're
and I
very
think that they're
similar.
yeah. So again, going back to what Brian Tracy says is like you have everything within you right now to achieve greatness, but that's the idea is embracing humility and learning as well, right? Like you don't like you have to understand that with that comes a ton of being poured into and a ton
Right.
of receiving
Oh, for
information
sure.
and
For sure.
lessons and
Absolutely.
being coachable, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Being
yeah,
teachable,
Absolutely.
right?
I totally agree.
100.
Yeah.
100% agree.
I think that's
100
the
easy.
marriage of those two concepts.
Right.
Really, is like
Right.
I think
it's
being
not
close to
that.
the
My mama's in the house. So,
What up, Dr. Vinny?
Double
she
doctor.
said,
Why my
it-
voice get so high? Y'all hear that?
important,
was
important
crazy.
is the willingness to change.
Ooh.
And Jason John says loves this. What up, Jay?
What up,
What up,
JJ?
Jay?
What up, Jay Stone, Jay Rock, Jason?
So
Johns?
I'm gonna actually change the tides here if you guys don't
All right, go
mind.
for
Let's
it.
go.
I'd like to talk because we're
Spicy.
talking about things that corrupt and kind of screw this space is speaking and getting paid to speak. And I'd like to talk
Paying
about
to
that
speak.
and paying to speak just because
Ooh.
things have changed a lot during COVID.
Oh God.
So what are your guys'
had to bring
thoughts
this up
on
with me
that?
here.
As the event planner, I have a lot of
Always
of
like,
thoughts
cut
on
it.
this.
We're getting
Oh
unfair
no,
now.
let's
No.
dive
No,
into
no,
this.
'cause it's a
However, I do need to
controversial
yield to the
thing.
expert on some of this because you were in that space
I was
so much more than
It's
I
a
was.
controversial thing. In
I
my
was
For
talking
opinion.
about her.
sure.
I was like, right? I'm like, oh no, he's talking about me.
Well, both of y'all. I mean, y'all
And
were in the space
I'm
before I was.
actually-
I was speaking, but not like what y'all do. That's for
I'm
sure.
coming from it from somebody that books speakers, but also tries to get my speakers booked because that's kind of, one of my jobs as well is, I mean, obviously I want the best for my speakers to get paid and everything like that. But from the event planning space, especially with COVID, my thing is if they're not bringing anything to your event, then they're taking from your event. And how
Mm.
valuable is that to pay someone for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta bring that.
You know what I
value.
mean?
Right.
Mhm.
It's hard because like we were talking about, we look at it from two different perspectives as a speaker and as
Mhm.
hosting events. We do.
Right.
We do
Right.
both. Yeah.
So I kind of see both sides of a coin here.
Right.
Right. I where COVID definitely changed it and we see it changed it is that there's less real paid opportunities for speakers than there was before.
For sure.
Right off the bat, because there's less live events, right? Like because of
For
COVID,
sure.
there's less
For
live
sure.
events. So we know it went down. But also people started seeing there were so many people out there with impactful messages. And some are like, fuck it, I don't need no money. I want impact.
Right.
Right. And also what we've always said for years was I did not care about the number in which someone that was cool to like. There's people out there that'll brag about how much they made from a gig,
Sure.
right? Like I'm a 5-figure speaker. I get paid 5 figures in one gig. It's like that's great, man. And like Edward Jones will pay almost anybody that as long as they think you're all right, right? So it's not like it matters where you're trying to get the money from. That's the first thing, right? Like if you're just going to Joe Smo conference, they might not. If you go to like Edwards Jones Regional, they're going to pay you. Right. So it's one, where are you going? Right. Are you going corporate? You're most likely going to get paid. It's a complete different atmosphere though. And what they're trying to do and how you even get those gigs, it's very different. Right. So for me, it was always, we're going to bring people towards us whenever we get on stage. Right. Like if you give us a microphone, we're bringing people towards us because we're going to shine our weird light, right, as bright as it can be, and our people are going to recognize that light and be like, that's our people, let's roll, right? And that's our thing, right? Like you'll see blue and green hearts on every freaking post everybody makes of ours and anyone that's in our community, right? It's because people are supporting that, and we have a bunch of people that support, love, and care, and when we shine that light, they know, and when other people see that light, they're like, I want to get closer and see what that's about. So
For
all we
sure.
ever needed was a moment on stage, right? And that was fully our
For
belief.
sure.
Give us a moment, we got this.
Sure.
Right. And I'm better at selling on stage than I am actually selling one-on-one because I can't dive into each individual person's problem on stage. I can just talk about what we can do and educate. All right. So for me, as when COVID happened, it brought light to, there was a bunch of people in the space that people did not know of that had crazy good stories, that were crazy good at telling the stories, that had crazy impact, that overcame some amazing things to have amazing lives, right? That fought their ass off and battled through a whole bunch of adversity, a whole bunch of shit. And just because they didn't have the attention on them when all the attention were on the people that consistently had the attention, now all of a sudden we could see them. We were like, yo, you're fucking dope, right? And people need to hear your shit. Right. And all of a sudden, then it was like, why are we giving 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000 of these people that, and we've seen it in the space where you give 5 figures plus to people and they bring, 2 people buy a ticket from their site and you're like, great, thank you. All right. And it's like, that's a cool story. I can find that story on YouTube for free.
Right.
100%.
I can't find this person's story on YouTube for free. Right. And there's this thing called, all right, there's a certain gap where there's a disconnect between what you live and what I believe I can live. Right. So if you're like, I'm a billionaire, just follow me. And like, I'm trying to make my first $5,000, right? There's a disconnect. I don't see that yet. Right. My vision's not that clear.
Right.
Right. So there's a certain disconnect of lack of impact from people coming in and speaking to certain people when the differential is so big, right? And why I'll say that and where it'll make sense, it's like, all right, Gary V, right? Gary V hits, right? And he hits a lot of people that are just trying to develop businesses, right? He really hits that. But you don't hear Gary V a lot saying about all the money he has, talking about private jet. He keeps talking about, I want to make enough to buy the jets. Right? That's what he keeps saying. I want to make enough. I'm not there, but I want to make enough to buy the jets. Right? Like I'm not close, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going. Right? And like the person that's like, I'm going to make a life. I'm going to make a life. They're resonating with that because they're saying the same thing, just different terms. Right? And he never talks about that. He always talks about hustle and about going for it and about putting in the time and putting in the reps and putting in the effort and be kind and care about people and actually care about getting results for people. He never talks about that shit that will separate him from his audience.
Ooh.
Right? And then there's people that will get up there and like take a lot of money and be like, this means nothing to me and set it fire. And everybody that money means something to you, just disconnected from.
100%.
Right?
Bro,
Because
I'm
no
punch you
one
straight in the
right
mouth.
because no one's like, oh
Give me
fuck
that.
yeah, take my one too, burn that shit. Right? Like it would be like that. I'm not with him. I don't know what that means.
I'm not burning my money. I'm trying to make money.
You can donate that at worst, right?
Yeah.
Like shit. So there's that kind of differential will disconnect. So when you start seeing that disconnect, you're like, bro, that's cool. But how many times are we going to a conference to hear the same person speak? Right? Like, and listen, I'll talk about some people I really respect and love in the game. Like Les Brown is the best storyteller in the game, bar none to me. Like,
For sure.
fight me. All right. There's only so many times I'll pay to see him speak. All right. He's dope. He's great. But what I saw was cool. It motivated me. It inspired me. I ran through a wall. I didn't know where the hell to go after. Right. But it was like, I saw it now. Like, I'm cool. It's how many people are you like, I want to go see this dude every time because every time he's dropping value, he's dropping bomb. His story is amazing. He brings you somewhere different and somewhere further. And those are the guys that now you're finding them. And for nothing, you're finding them that just want to spread love, that want to impact. I remember a conversation me and you had. Sorry for dominating the mic right now.
No,
No,
love it.
you're crushing
We
it.
love
Absolutely.
We love
Keep
it.
going, bro.
Absolutely.
If
I
we're being
remember-
objective driven, we need to let you speak.
For sure. Yeah.
I remember a conversation me and you had in this building, right? And someone else was involved, other people were involved in the conversation. And I was like, you're going the wrong way with Bobby, right? Because they were like, how much money do you make in this? How much money do you make here? Oh, like, oh, well, you want, we can definitely make that. And you were just like, I don't care about that, guys. Like, I have a thing that makes money. So if that's what I was doing, I would just do that, right? I would do it more and I'd make more, right? It's very simple concept, right? He's like, I want to impact. So if you tell me more ways I can do that, and if I can do that more ways with you, I'll be here.
Sure.
Right. So I kept saying about all our events and different things we're trying to do and how we're trying to grow and our vision forward, because I said that's what he cares about. He doesn't give a damn about how much money can roll. He's already doing that. Right. So it's what matters to you, because then you become a real dangerous speaker, because you're like, yo, I'll come to any event and rock a crowd. I don't care about this so much. Don't disrespect me. Right. Because then we're human. Don't disrespect me on that.
For sure.
Because then you're not appreciating. That's different. I can find places that appreciate me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. Don't disrespect me, but I want to rock your audience. Like, I'm here for them.
Right.
Right. And then people are going to be like, fuck yeah. How many followers do you gain all the freaking time because your videos, because you're pouring into people, right? How many people love your shit? How many viral videos go viral? I hate talking to you about videos because I'm like, bro, we got over 1,000. You're like, my last one got over 100,000. I'm like, get the away from me, right? Like don't random my now it's over 1 million. I'm like, just play with traffic. All right.
I'll burn my views on stage, bro.
I'm like, I need to get 10 more followers this week. He's like, yeah, I'm at 90K. I'm like,
wow.
I ain't at shit right now.
Right.
They took me.
The other thing about
Hey, by the way, if you watching on Facebook, I'm banned. I love y'all. I won't see y'all for a while. But you're right, dude. So like, and that mattered to me. Like, I wanted people, and not to change the subject, but I wanted people to see that there was this space in their life that they weren't tapping into yet, and that they didn't, you know what I mean? Like, those self-limiting beliefs were holding them back, just like they were holding me back. And I wanted to get that secret out to people more and more.
Right.
And so you presented an opportunity for me to do that. And you're right. I think you had me figured out. And now I'm looking back on this series of events like, hey, man. No, I'm just kidding.
No, think about this. If you're having an event, I want every one of your answers. If you're having an event, right? Yeah. Even yours. You're having an event. All right. Do you want
shout out Quantre right quick? Because thank you, bro, for being the MVP right now.
2 a.m. in the studio.
Yeah. Shout out Quantre. Sorry, go ahead. Events.
Like,
so you're having an event. All right. You're having an event. Do you want to try to build, you know me, I talk a lot of shit in this area. Are you trying to build your credibility off having someone else that has credibility? to make you look like you know somebody or have somebody or cool, or are you trying to bring in there someone that you know wants to just, my whole goal is to impact this crowd.
100%.
Right?
Sure.
Like not
100%.
necessarily make 100,000 stepping on stage, right? Not necessarily being able to sell to make 100,000, but I just want to impact people. So I'm going
Right.
to come, right? Like there's no doubt in my mind, if you're like, Bobby, get on that stage, Bobby's like, cool. My number one thing is I'm going to hit these guys in the face, right?
Hit him.
Right.
I'm gonna hit him.
I used to say, everybody's like, do you picture people naked before you go up and speak? And I was like, no, that's weird. All right. Like it doesn't work. And they're like, what do you do? I'm like, I picture I punch everyone in the face beforehand.
Jesus.
And I'm like, I know I can't, so I'm going to do it with my words. And I'm going to hit each one of these people. Like I hit them in the face, right? They're just going to be like, wow. They're going to do the Bobby Jones 45-second jaw drop, right? The
Oh, I didn't.
With
I thought they were going
Brian.
to go
Shout
a
out
different
Brian.
video.
right? But it's like, so which one do you guys want? Do you want the one that's trying to make that bank, or do you want the one that cares about impacting your people? And I think a lot of people are now shifting towards the impact,
For sure.
and that makes it
And
harder to get paid.
We're not
It's like-
hiring ever again a speaker that's not going to be an attendee.
Let me tell you a
Not
quick
have
way.
that speaker mentality.
I love that you say that, because let me tell you a quick way never to be involved in anything I'm involved with. If they are, I'll back
Yeah.
myself out, right? Is that to say, no, that event's not really for me, but I'll come speak.
For sure.
Never ever, my friend. Sorry. Because if it's not for you, that means the attendees aren't for you. That means when you speak, you're speaking for you and not them. And that means there's no point in us doing anything together.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you say that, bro, because I don't even like there's people around me that I hear whispering this, like this idea that that the like if you're acting like an event, like you can't go to this event and learn something, or that event and learn something, or you
Right.
can't, like, bro, I learned from my 12-year-old daughter. So if you're
For sure,
pretending
for
that you
sure.
can't go to an event and learn something, like, bro, you're nuts. And
Right.
so the idea, and that's the thing for me, man, I've been to events that I'm speaking at and I'll be front row, like engaged as a,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
because I'm going to be like, if I'm going to pour into people, I want to be poured into also. And I
For
want to
sure.
be impacted, because I might be with somebody later that really needs to hear that person's message. And I will do my very best to connect them. But if I can give them some of that from consuming his content or her content, bro, like I'm spreading that impact.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're really impact driven, then that should be welcomed at all levels.
For
Mhm.
sure.
And so the other thing for me was, if I want to be better at my craft, I needed repetition. Like I wanted to speak. I wanted to speak more often, because I knew that in each time that I spoke, I could impact. But in each time that I spoke, I was going to get better at
Mhm.
impacting.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Right,
there's
it's
so
encouraging.
many people, and I'll shout out Chaz Wilson on this one too, because I didn't want to be a motivational speaker, right? I want to be transformational. And it's something that he said to me, is like, I don't want to be motivational. I want to be transformational, right? Like really have people leave different than they came,
Damn
For
right.
sure.
Yeah.
impacted.
If not,
to
what was the point of
better,
being there?
impact.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
What was the point of being there? There was Sasha still. I think she's still in. She's been commenting like crazy.
Nice.
By the way,
Hey,
so
thank
so
you
has
for
Doug
sharing
and
all
Mary.
that.
They've been commenting like crazy. I want to give
Yes.
them a shout
What's
out.
up, guys? Thank you for
What's up, guys?
thank you
The-
for being there.
But there was a post Sasha made, I believe, a couple days ago, and it was it was pure fire. Right? She was like, I have paid to work.
Mhm.
Mhm.
She's like, I have work for free,
Yeah.
right? And I've been paid to work,
Right.
and it typically goes in that order.
Yeah.
I paid to work,
Mhm.
I worked for free, and then I got
Right.
paid to work.
Right.
And when I was reading that, I was just like, yo, that's so dope, because one, a lot of people that are younger don't want to do that. They're like, pay me, pay me, pay me. Listen, I know people that like first were like, pay me consistently, pay me more. And it's just like, bro, at some point, like, here's the deal. When you ever ask, if you're ever thinking I need to be paid more, ask, what more are you doing?
What more did you bring?
Right.
Ooh,
What? Because if
absolutely.
you're doing the same shit and wanting more, well, that's everybody, man. I want to do less and make more. That's there's days I even say that, like, fuck, I want to do less and make more. Right.
Sure.
But it's that thing where you could be like, yo, I love this so freaking much. I'm about this so much, and this is my purpose, that I'm down for whatever. Right. And that's why they were like, Mike, why do you speak at all those damn Rotaries and Chamber of Commerces and right, like in Guana clubs, and why do you go speak at all? Because I wanted to speak. That was my purpose. Right. And it's funny, everybody always talks about the highest paying speaking job I got, which was Edward Jones. Right. Everybody always talks about that one. And no one ever talks about that I was speaking out of chamber for free that I got it from.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, if I didn't do that free thing, I wouldn't have got the paid thing.
For
Right.
sure.
So I was willing to do the free thing, and we did, and that free one, we went heavy. Like we tried to give a lot of value. We did multiple exercise, really like dove in, like you said, be transformational, not motivational. Motivation runs through the wall. You don't know where to go. Transformation means you know the direction in which you're going when you go through the wall. And that's a whole different life, right? And that's dope. So it was, if we didn't do those things, they wouldn't happen. And a lot of times I can find, especially when I was younger too, it was like, man, I deserve, right? And it was like, but did you earn, right? Because no one cares what you deserve. We all deserve better in our own minds, especially typically, right? But it's like, did you earn? And what does that look like? Like how many scars do you have? Like, it's like, what did you really go through for this? Because we talk all the time, like for Unleash You Now, for what we stand for and what we believe in, I would say I'm willing to die behind this, right? Like we'll battle until someone drags me out of the arena. Right. And it's just, that's my mindset. I won't say everybody else. I won't speak for everybody else. They're here and they have microphones. Right. But, yeah, I'm not letting them use it, but, but it's like the mindset I go into this is it. Sink, swim, die, whatever. Sure. This is it. And that's the people always say belief in it. I say, no, it's beyond belief. Right. It's like Nipsey also said a line in an interview, which I'm like, fuck yeah, that's us. And he said, it's more than belief. He said, it's like the ground. When you stand on it, you know, it's going to hold you. And he's like, and that's what I am with this shit. I stand on it and I know it's going to hold me. And it's because we work so hard at mastering the craft. Yeah. Right. Like that it's 8 something on a fucking Tuesday and we're sitting in the studio just chopping it up.
Bro, that ain't even the 2 hours we sat in here before this. You know what I mean? You know, just
right. And that's not tooting our own horn. There's people out there working harder where I'm like, fuck, I gotta catch up.
For sure.
Right. And like, why do we sit in the mirror for an hour giving a presentation over and over and over and over and over again, figuring out if this word is better than this word? Does this word lead them better or this word lose them? Right. Like when you're doing all that work. So it's like when people are always like, oh, I didn't even think about it. I'll just go on there and say whatever. I hate that shit. I'm like, cool, man, that you really worked at it and you can do that. But is that truly serving them? Right. Because I always want to know, are you serving you or are you serving them? If you're serving you, I kind of want to back off a little bit because you'll let me die for you. Right. Like if you're serving them, you're going to suffer for them. Yeah. Right. And it's like that. The 2 generals talked and he's like, I'll lose 10,000 men just to get to you. And he said, I'll die to save any one of my men. And it was like, which one do you want to fight for? I'm like, the one that said he'll die for any one of us. Sure. Right? Not the one that said he'll sacrifice 10,000 of us. Yeah. Shit, I might be in the 10,000.
For sure.
Right? So it's kind of like that thinking. I want to see that feeling here. Like, those are the people I want around and rock with.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and there's a couple of things that you said I wanted to elaborate on, which is the one is like people just in feeling that entitlement. Like, man, Meek Mills has a line, or Meek Mill, excuse me. I always like add an S to his shit. Meek Mill has a line where he says where you're checking for your homie's pockets thinking you deserved it.
Ooh, that's dope. I never heard that. Also,
yes, bro.
I'm this years old when I learned it wasn't Meek Mills.
Yo, that's why. Yo, I have a theory behind this, by the way, because you know Meek is a Philly rapper, and in that area, what was the ad that you used to hear right around that same time? Foreman Mills. Anybody remember that? You don't remember that? Come on, Ed. A little bit. Quantrell knows. Yeah, I remember a little bit. Mills, yeah. That's why I was like Meek Mills. I even like add the little harmony at the, but. No, but it's all about like loving the process over the product, right? Like you got to understand that there's a mission to this shit, right? And let me go back. I want to give Sasha a shout out because let me tell y'all something real quick because you brought her up and that girl flew all the way out here to come and do photography with me and my daughter. She had a goal to do photography for fathers and daughters like across the country, and she had people that she like had connected with, and she literally flew out here to do that. Now let me ask you guys something. Do you think she flew out there for those pictures? No, it's about relationships every single time. Look at this. Look at the relationship. Look at all the connections that I've made through her, she's made through me, and like that's what it's all about at the end of the day, in my opinion, right? So while I cherish those photos and those moments, that was dope to share with my daughter because, by the way, my daughter had her Canon camera out there shooting at the same time, and Sasha was, getting pics of her doing that. But those moments were dope. But we got time to like build on that relationship, and hopefully, we have no idea what's in store for us in that connection or so many others that came from it. And so I think that's it, though. Like, what are you willing to do for what you're after? And if you're, like to your point, like there's so many people that are like, I'm not going to go outside the box. I'm not going to try harder. Meanwhile, there's people that are busting their ass, speaking in the subway, like, on the bus in New York, like delivering a message. And you're talking, you know what I mean? Like if you're truly about that impact, then speak up. Because to your point, when you talk about what Unleash You stands for, and you go back to Nipsey Hussle's comment about this ground, right? Because when you believe in something to that degree, it changes. You don't go from this place of like, I'm confident enough in my product and what we do as a community to talk about it often. It becomes your direct responsibility to talk about it with your people and to everybody you come in contact with. When you know that you can transform, and by just an introduction to the community and the people within it, that becomes a moral obligation to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right. Yeah. Right. It's your moral obligation to tell people what you're doing. If you believe it really serves and helps people, it becomes your moral obligation to let them know you can serve and help them.
For sure.
Right. Because they have to know it. Because if they don't know it, then they can't do it. Right. So you have to let them know. It's like we always say, like, what people don't know, they don't know. And like what they know, they know. So if that's the only thing I know, that's all I know to do. Right. That's why I hate that thing, like everything you need is inside you, because the go harder.
You was gonna go back to that, weren't you?
No, sorry. And,
and the next phrase, because I disagree.
No one cares, go harder. Right. No one cares. Like play harder. Right. Like it was like I think an athlete said that. No one cares, go harder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, no one cares about you. And I'm like, well, that's not true. Like, we care, you can go harder. But the thing that kills me with that is that if what you're doing, like the vessel you're using to try to accomplish what you're doing is flawed, right? Or has a kink somewhere, and you just keep doing that harder and harder, you know how frustrating that's going to be? Because you're going to get the same result, right?
Well, I know firsthand. Fake it till you make it.
He's like, no, I know exactly what that's like.
Fake it till you make it.
Right.
Bro, that was literally like instilled in me, and I embraced it, and I found myself faking it more than I was being myself.
Oof.
What?
Yeah.
Right. Let me throw some things out there. Was said every day. I don't know what that was too, but Sasha also said nothing about all the compliments we said about her. She did say no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
That's
and Mary and Doug were giving you props and saying 100 and fire about what you were saying earlier.
For sure.
Just like,
shout out.
No, they
Thanks,
literally
guys,
said Bobby.
for sticking with us.
Appreciate you.
So just it wasn't about you.
I thought that was just Mike, trying to pass the credit. You know what I mean?
Us.
Aquafina. Yep.
Well, half and half.
Cash apps in the comments. No.
Cash at me right now.
Cash app below, Venmo below.
Yeah, it was funny. Some dude's birthday was on Facebook yesterday or today, and he was like,
there was probably a lot of people's
it was
birthday
one on my
yesterday.
thing that I noticed. And he put, and why I noticed it was he put his picture and then his Venmo picture next to him, or Cash App picture. I was like, come on.
Oh,
they searching, man.
I was like, I was like, this. I don't know why. It's just something about me. I don't do that. I won't do that.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is too. It's probably like ego or something that we need to address, and that's a bad thing. But it's like,
therapy.
I'm like, nah, like, I'm not doing that. Save your money, do something cool with it, and that'll make me have a happy birthday. Right. It's I was having the conversation today. They were like, save more, save. And I was just like, listen, here's the deal. I was like, to experience life and have moments with my people, I'll die broke. Right. Like,
sure.
Right? Like, I don't care to have moments and experiences with my people. I'll die broke. I do not care about making sure that when I die, there's a nice amount in the bank account for some arbitrary bullshit that people want to create. Right. Like, no, we're going to live it up. We're going to have moments. So at the end, hopefully there's something in the bank account, but also we're going to have so many moments we're going to take it back to, and so many things we're going to remember about our lives and our relationships that's going to carry on forever.
Sure.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, that's what I care about. But that went all over the place.
No.
Huge, man. It's huge.
Yeah, my dad always used to say that. And never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't get to take your shit with you.
You don't get to take it with you. So I want to go back to our whole concept, and let's talk about, there's a couple other things that I think are fogging the space. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
Let's hear it.
All the bullshit
Drop some
coaches.
bombs.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, I think it's frustrating when we see like somebody, like, let's say somebody has like some viral videos, right? And then becomes highly followed on a platform. And then those same people use that as an opportunity to teach other people how to market their business on those platforms. It's not the same.
Right.
It's not the same thing.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, creating an entertaining video that people will watch versus trying to market and message your client, like
Right.
your ideal
Right.
avatar.
Mhm.
Agreed.
That ain't the same.
Nope.
There's not much virality in that, as a matter
Right.
of fact.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
100%.
100%.
So,
Totally
I mean,
agree.
you could do like, obviously the creative stuff where, you got brands present in an entertainment video,
Mhm.
but to deliver content that's going to be hitting your people, I don't believe that just having some virality and having some followers gives you the authority to coach people on marketing their business.
100%.
I totally
Why is there
agree.
people that have 10,000 plus followers that can't sell a $49 class? Like, why is that why you
Right.
can't sell,
Right.
you can't sell 100 to 10,000 people, right? Like, that's a problem,
Yeah.
right? That means you're not in the sales, or your people that are on there are not into buying from you.
Right.
And that's why it's two different things. I was having this argument with someone a couple days ago. It's weird that you brought it up, where it was like, they were like, man, I'll take all the followers in the world. And I was like, cool. I'm going to try to get people that I can impact, and I impact them greater by
Right.
being buyers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's so much time in a day. We all stuck with 24, right? Until they give us more. All right. We're all stuck with 20. I hope they expand it to 28, but they haven't yet.
Who's this day?
I
he's
wrote
talking
a-
about?
I wrote a letter
was
to
gonna
the
say,
government.
who is
Who is
this?
I wrote a
this?
letter to the government saying that should be 28 hours in a day, but they haven't responded. But it's
That's not how the sun works.
we all
sir.
right. We all have 24. Right. We all have 24 hours. That thing. Who let that star run us? No. But we all have 24 in a day. So there's so much we can spend everywhere. Right. Doing anything. So it's obvious we can pour into more and longer people that are farther in the ascension with us. Right. There's so much free content we put out, so much content we put out for our mastermind groups, for our one-on-ones, for our different memberships. Right. There's only so much. Right. Because we're advancing and trying to impact people at greater levels. And we know to do that, we need to be able to go to greater levels with them. Right. So it can't just be like, hey, watch this. Hey, watch this. Hey, watch this. Hey, what? Because then we don't even know if we're hitting. Right. So it's like there has to be an ascension process too. Like there has to be a path that we're walking through and holding hands.
For sure.
Right. So if we don't do that, we can't. Right. So it's like people are like, well, you should help us more. And I'm like, cool. Still, we have 24. Right. I sleep for a couple. I should sleep more. All right. You can definitely tell because the bag's under my eyes. All right. So I should sleep more, but I don't. I also have a daughter I like to spend some time with. Right. And let her know that I exist and that like dad is real.
Unacceptable.
Right? Yeah. What a POS I am. All right. And my mom's still around. I kick it with her sometimes. Right. She doesn't really like that as much. She tries to kick me out when I try to kick it with her. Right. So it's that, but also then our people, right? Like we try to spend time and love on our people. And then we have our clients and customers that we spend time with and love on because we're making sure we deliver on what we say and walk into the ascension process so they have the best results. And then there's people that are our ideal clients that we're speaking to and let them know we're here and like there's a long line of people that we have to get to every day.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we're doing that, it's like, why does this matter? Is because we can't pour in places that we can't get to in the time and day.
Facts.
Right. Like I can't get there through like, who do you cut out of the line? Do you cut out your daughter? No, never. Sorry. Right. Like, do I cut out my mom's? No. When I was doing that, she got sick and I was just like, oh my God. Right. So I was like, no, I can't do that just in case anything happens. Right. Do you cut out your people? What kind of person would I be? Like, who would want to be in anything I'm in if I'm like, sorry guys, today you're cut out. All right. We're going to go find some new ones. Right. Like, thank you. Right. Like, love you too. Right. So like when you're building this, the train becomes longer, but the day is the same amount. Right. So if we're not coming towards, right, it's like the Coast Guard story that I always say. How'd the guy that had the most saves in the Coast Guard? I was like, never heard the story. Right. I said the Coast Guard story. I would say he was like,
I'm following.
Right. So
I'm tuned in.
The guy that had the most saves in the Coast Guard. I'm actually at an event I'm speaking, he's speaking. Right. And he's not a speaker that he says. Right. So they're doing like an interview style on the stage. And the guy's like being a real smug jerk. Not the Coast Guard guy, the interviewer. It's like, you had the right to play God. How'd you decide who to save? Right. And the guy did that kind of face for a minute. Like, did he really just say it like that?
Dang.
And there was like that awkward silence for like a minute and a half. Everybody's like, who's going to break first? And the interviewer's like, I'll ask something else. Cause clearly the one asked, he's like, no, I'll answer. It's like, I never played God. It's like, my goal was to lose the least amount of lives as possible every time we went out. That was my goal every time. And he's like, this is how we do it. He's like, you go out and normally rescuers, they want to jump in. They want to save. They want to help. Right. They want to get involved and help people. Right. We're like all waiting to see who it is.
Hey, oh my God. We told you to come and you
It's my son.
Yo, that's
What up?
why I said it, because I had a feeling he was going to pop
Oh
up. Come
my
on in, bro.
God. And he brought water.
Right?
Wow.
What's up?
Yeah,
I
we're
use one
always
because I
need
use
more
it for my
water.
phone.
Thank
Let's
you.
go.
Right? And now we have a new chance.
Oh, wait.
Seltzer Falls purified water.
That's Silver
Oh.
Falls, but that's okay.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us.
Reading's my
Sponsor
strength.
us.
Reading is my strength. So,
Yes, sir.
So the Coast Guard said when he pulls up,
Grab a chair from right there and roll it right
Yeah,
in. Go ahead.
come on in.
the Coast Guard says when he pulls up, everybody wanted the rescue people say would jump in. He said he would wait, and he would throw. There's two things they use, like some kind of like pull up thing and some kind of like crate bench thing, and that's the two things they used to save people with, right? And he would throw them in and wait a second, and he would say, I would start seeing who started swimming towards them, and those were the ones I went to first. Because if I went by them and went to the one swimming away from me, we all drown. To get to him, everyone goes down. So he would jump in, grab those two, and put them right on. So they're getting pulled up. Then he gets the next two, pulls them right over. Then comes down there grabbing them. He's like, and then I go for the one farther because I knew then we saved as many as we could, and now I have a chance. But if I went to this one, I'm risking to lose everyone to try to get the furthest one, the one that doesn't understand, the one swimming the wrong way, hanging onto a buoy, doing all kinds of things that people do in those kinds of situations. And he said, if I just kept going out there, I could die and a bunch of other people could die. He's like, and that's how I would do it. Right. So when he said that, I was like, yo, that's brilliant in like a business or movement creation. It's when you put your light out there, stop trying to grab people the farthest away and missing all the people you can serve right now. Right. Get the people swimming towards you. When you shine your light, who starts coming towards you? Grab them and pull them up. Right? Pull them towards you. Start getting the next one. Get the next one. And keep walking through the line of grabbing the people that, because they resonate with your light and started walking towards you. Right? When we talk relationships are key. And relationships are people walking towards one another. Right? Repeatedly, over and over. And hard days and bad days and rough days and days that don't feel like it. Yeah. And the best relationships, the ones you walk towards the most. Right? And the most consistently. And it's like, so when you notice that in the movement world, those are the ones you grab and pull up and be like, yo, I got you, right? Because you took that step. A relationship is twofold. We're both doing our part, right? You took the step, I'm taking the step, right? If you're going the other way, I can't be like, yo, sorry, guys, F all you. Let me go grab this guy that doesn't recognize that I'm the light.
Yeah. All right. So I have a little bit of a challenge on that.
All right.
Okay. Because the one and the concept is, right, it's like the people that are closest to you, right? I know you're saying, right, because that's where it goes into the water.
The people that like, so they recognize when that was dropped in, that was the way to get saved.
Gotcha.
Right. So not necessarily the concept.
Okay.
It's the people that recognize that's the way.
Right.
I fuck with that.
Rather
I
than
like
going
that.
the other way.
I like that.
So not necessarily close.
Okay, I don't have a challenge anymore. I bring back.
Whew, I was nervous. Shit, I'm done. Mike's phone.
Also,
We're
I
gonna go.
want to
Come on in, Margaret.
Here. Shout out. Not sure if you guys saw the announcement yesterday, but Bobby Jones has joined the Unleashed officially.
What's up, partner?
Officially, Michael Fabber and Bobby Jones are unleashing out partners.
Yeah, that's no coincidence.
Jesse, I gotta give a shout out. Jesse Cruz said,
"What up, Jesse?
You are always up, bro." Oh, I think when I was talking about sleeping, and he said the moments matter. And then my brother Eddie said, "Hey." And
Eddie.
Mary Gillen still here, rocking with us.
Let's go, Mary.
What up, Mary?
Be the anchor in the light. Facts.
I love that.
Yo, also shout out Pat Campbell. If you guys didn't see that, he came here, he brought us some water. He's here with us. Feel free to get on the conversation, sir.
Yeah, you can roll up
here. Come on in, man. Rolling up. Watch the wires, though. Watch the wires. You don't want to get leashed.
Already had that happen once.
Now we got Michael.
I don't know how well he'll be on the camera, but we'll hear your voice.
But I gotta be professional.
Bring that.
There's nothing more
bring that close to like
beer.
right in between. Yeah, it's going to need to be like right there for us to hear y'all. So
you can tongue kiss that thing when you talk.
There's a
this dude, man. He always goes out. I don't know what I'm looking. I'm looking for red light. There they are. Quancha, you on it, baby? On it.
No, the camera bounces before I got in here were fantastic.
Really?
Oh, word.
I've just been looking at that central camera. I have no idea.
That's what he does.
Right.
It's okay because when you do that, guess what he knows to do? Bang, go to that central camera.
Oh wow.
Because he's the man.
I mean, I've been looking the whole time. I'm like,
here, help
guys.
yourself to that water, man.
Evan, don't leave, Evan.
So yeah, no,
be
you're
so
here.
upset.
You're not going nowhere.
I'll be
We'll
so
shut this whole thing
upset.
down. You're gonna impact the impact. you understand what's going to happen there? You're going to impact the degree of impact we can have.
Should we talk about Nashville and how excited I am for it?
Oh,
Let's
hell
go.
Yes. Look at you.
Let's
You're coming.
go.
Yeah, no.
I'm
100%.
so
You already,
excited.
you already paid and bought his ticket.
Yeah,
Hell
I was like one of
yeah.
the first people to buy on, right?
Yeah, damn right.
Fuck yeah.
He's the man.
Also, can we?
Because he's fucking swimming towards him.
He saw my
True.
light.
No,
True.
I mean I had one.
Sorry,
I
excuse
had
my
one
language.
I had one sit down with Mike. Sold.
Boom.
That's great.
Done.
It took Heather, what, 2 times?
20. 22 times. My favorite number, 22
I
times.
want
It's
to
okay.
also shout out Evan, because he's the quietest person here, but all of the graphics and awesome videos and everything you see that kind of bring you towards us. He's the
People-
mastermind behind it all.
Shout out the squad.
Besides that one, don't blame him for that one.
Yeah,
That's me.
no.
That's
Yo.
That
blame Bobby. Blame
uncapitalized-
Bobby.
See how clean
Blame
that end
Bobby.
is, though?
Yeah, it's clean. It's a clean end.
It's the cleanest end I've
Clean
ever
end.
seen.
Look at the way those U's hang on both ends, though. You know what I mean?
Because it's about the you.
It's by you.
And people said, "What's up, Pat?"
Check out the UnleashU Now video that just came out.
Oh,
Oh,
it's like
for
a movie
sure.
trailer.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I,
I
dope.
love it.
I have it pinned on top of my profile.
Oh,
Yeah.
dope.
Some people
Go
pin
check it
like
out.
weird, like terrorist like things, and then other people
Don't
pin
leave us now. Though,
videos of
but when
Unleash You
we're
Now.
done.
Yeah.
I pin Unleash You Now videos.
Yeah.
What do you put on?
Pinned?
Nothing
What do
right
you put on
now.
Pinned?
your profile.
Nothing right
Uh,
What are we
now.
talking about pinning on what?
Did you
Facebook.
see I got banned today, bro?
Yeah.
Facebook?
I got
got
Taliban.
banned.
I've
No,
never
listen.
I've never been.
I got
banned for nothing.
hacked. I got hacked by some terrorist group that posted a
gonna
bunch of
say,
pictures.
not
Actually,
only-
wait, should we probably
Someone's
shouldn't
coming
say
at us.
this?
Not
Because then
only
this
did
is
he
gonna
get
get.
banned, this is what they posted on his profile.
And they shut my account down for 30 days. This dude's messaging
Why
me.
would
He's like,
be
"Did you
in-
delete your
why-
Facebook?"
Why would you be into that kind of stuff?
Bro, Pull up. Pull up.
Yo.
pull up, Pat.
Come use mine. Right?
Come on in. Come on in. I got all kinds of mic tricks. Watch it.
Watch it.
You got the shoulder lean
Yeah.
on.
Yo.
Yo. Hold up, though. Don't let me get up underneath here.
People said hello, Pat. By the way, some
Yes.
people on the
Also,
Facebook Live said hello.
Hello.
Pat, I'm actually loving that you shouted out Nashville because I wanted to go to your post yesterday, Michael, that I thought was fire when he sold somebody. They were like, "Do you think you're going to grow from this?" And he was like, I know you are. Then I don't think I know it.
Yeah.
I just thought that was dope.
He
that
said,
you posted that out.
do you-
A lot
do
of
you
people
know-
don't say that.
Do you think my business will grow? No, I know it will.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Dope.
It's that, like that's the ground.
yeah.
Right.
That's the ground.
That's
You
why
know,
we're
like,
doing this
we know
damn
We
thing.
know what we do and we know it works. If you do it, not if you listen and be like, I
But
heard
that's the
it.
same with anything,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Implementation.
So it's like you gotta actually do it, but we know it works. Like
Gotta
we know.
have it
It's
within you.
proven.
Right. Multiple times in multiple different spaces and multiple different businesses.
So I want to go back to that because we started talking about this, like this flooded space of people who are willing to coach you on something that they might not know nothing about, right?
Mhm.
Because look, I don't got it all figured out. I don't got it all figured out at all. Okay, but I would tell you something. I have knocked doors
Mhm.
and I have had viral videos. I have sent direct mailers. I have sponsored local events. I have
Mhm.
spoken at chamber events. I've done a lot in the space of getting my name and my brand and my company out there, right? And so when I hear somebody talk about here's how to market your business, create this video, bro, there's more to it than that. Like
Mhm.
I've had bloody knuckles from knocking on doors. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Damn
Do you
right.
understand? And so, like, for me, if you're willing to go to that level, you're willing to go to that level.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so, to me, it's just that's the problem I have. We've seen that on Clubhouse. We've seen that in so many different places where people are coaching you on how to grow a business. Okay, cool. What businesses did you grow? Oh, I did marketing for a company that's 7 figures.
Mhm.
Or that's
Cool.
my
Did you
favorite
grow the
thing is my
business or did-
coaching business. Where I
Right.
coach people.
Right.
I'm like,
What?
okay, how'd you fucking start then?
Right.
Did you start scamming people first, then they signed up with you? Now you're good at coaching people?
What
Like,
book did you
yeah.
read
Ooh, I got a
that
question
you
for you.
started
Then.
promoting that book?
So let me
without
ask you
saying
guys
it?
this one. I think this is a question to have on this video for sure. Like, what makes the person that's done it feel underqualified and the people that haven't done it overqualified or qualified
Mm.
enough?
I like that.
Well, I mean, first, easy answer, it's a mindset thing. Easy answer, right? But like what type of mindset thing? And I think the people that have actually walked the road know how hard it is,
Right.
right? And it's those terrors, right? Like it's like I always could tell from the person, I can always tell the person that really went through some things, they'll talk about the battles, right? I always love this. Like when we get introduced as speakers and people normally have like highlight reels. they built this figure business, and this figure business, and this figure business, and they built 74 19-figure businesses. And I'm like, what the fuck? Right? And I'm like, no, they didn't. Right? And then they're like, and there comes Michael Faber, who lost 6 figures in a restaurant fire, and he lost 6 figures because he bought property in 2007 like an idiot, and 2008 happened. Right? And it's like, it goes through all the disasters, because here's the deal. I want you to know that we did that and we're still here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a reason why you're like, yo, I went through foster care system. I went through juvie and jail. Like, I went through these things. I went through failed businesses to successful businesses. Why? It's because if you didn't go through any trial and tribulation, you're dealing in the highlight season. You're dealing in the summer. Right? I want to know how you survive the winter. Right? Because if I'm going to need to know that. I don't need to know how to act when it's going well.
Mhm.
Right? I smoke a cigar and I have a good Jack. Right? Jack Daniels. Right? Whoop. I was like, time out, Jack Daniels. Right?
And stroganoff.
Yeah.
Beef
I was like,
stroganoff.
that's why Evan's so close to me. Right? So it's like, I know how to handle wins. It's when you're losing, how do you handle that shit? Right? And that's the stuff I want to know, and that's the stuff I want to learn from and grow from. So then when I do hit that problem, I'm like, all right, cool. I have a couple ideas that I know people have done that have worked. Right? So because we're not going to be able to avoid the hits, we can avoid how long the hit hurts.
Right. So let's go back to like those people that have done it and just feel underqualified. No, because you answered on the that part and what's wrong with that aspect of it. But like these people that have really done this, right, and like built businesses. Like I've got a good friend of mine who, from the ashes, like built a business. I think he's got like 86 residential rental properties, another like 100 commercial rental properties, built a very big business right here. This one.
I was like, what?
Oh, it's still back there. I had to make sure it was still back there. Yes, the boombox. And he's done amazing things. But like if and he's been a mentor of mine, but my point is like you've got people like that at all aspects that are hesitant to like stand on a soapbox and preach how to build this. But then you got people that just have never done this at all. And they're the ones that are out here telling people how to do stuff all the time. And that's the frustrating thing for me. And it just waters down the space.
Right.
Patrick, I want to get Patrick, like, so what attracts you like to a certain person? If you want to consume their content and learn from them, like what attracts you to them first?
If it's relatable, and the biggest thing with me as far as
Relatable, going back to the Gary V comment.
Relatable. And the biggest thing with me trying to pick up mentors, because I'm super fresh into the entrepreneurial world, like you've been through it all. Like every single time I have a question, like you might not be able to get back to me like immediately, but you always are there to answer them. And that's the people that I look towards, is the people that are going to answer the questions that I ask. Make me feel like I'm not taking up their time, because I'm the type of person, like the moment that I feel like I'm just like overstepping, they're just like, all right, Pat, you gotta leave me alone. I'm like, bye.
Right.
So I don't know. As far as like consuming content, it's just stuff that I can relate to.
Yeah.
So read a couple of things here. Doug says those are cookie cutter coaches that read one book.
They got it all figured out.
Right.
They read the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich. I've got this.
Mary G.
One of the books you told me to read first.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a great book. Mary G says exactly. The storms, tests turn to testimony. The heart to get through the fire. Right. Grit. There we go. I said girl. I was like, what? The
guys can do it too.
Sasha says this is so good. Please keep doing these. This is one comment I want to read. Melissa actually said she was one of the people that felt underqualified, even though she did this. And she said, I felt underqualified to teach others about my industry because I was not sure I'm successful enough. Now I'm consulting doctors on how to do what I do because someone told me I should be sharing what I've learned. Then Mary G agreed with that and said, that's awesome. Right. And it's like, dude, here's the deal. Like, there are some people that are ahead of us in this space. There are some people that are ahead of us. Right. I normally throw their names out there and make fun of them because they named their thing after them. I'm like, what happens? All right. When you're not around. But there's people that are ahead of you, but there are also people that you're ahead of that you can teach. Every single one of us is teacher and every single one of us should be student. Right. Right. Like point blank period. Everyone is teacher.
Wifey Jones.
I was like, everyone. I was like, that's awkward. Everyone is
turn the
teacher.
Bluetooth volume down. My bad.
Everyone is teacher and everyone's student. right? And that makes it where we all know we can teach someone something, right? Like we all have an area of expertise of genius, right? Like I could literally walk over to you right now and you can show me how the hell you're doing what you're doing. That's like amazing. And I have no idea, right? And you're like, no, this is nothing. I'm like, no, it's something, because I don't know it and I think it's beautiful. Like I think it's art. Right. And you can show me things that you do that I have no idea how you do it, but I know it helps people and serves people because I've seen it work. Right. Like I've seen your stuff do something for someone and take them from like crazy tense to very peaceful. Right. Like I've seen it. Right. So I'm like, that's dope. Right. Like that's art. Like you're serving people and helping people. Right. Like Evan, what he does is brilliant. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like how the video he just made, literally, I watch that thing multiple times every day and I still don't understand how he made it. I'm like,
I love it.
He went through an hour plus of just videos to cut pieces, right? And it was great because I was messing with him about how long it was taking him to do the video, and he put a meme out and it said what people feel like video editing is, and it was just the edit video button. They click, video's done. He was like, it's not what it's like.
I
right?
love that. I love that.
Everybody wants to think that it's like a 45-minute process. When it's not.
No.
Hours.
And that's why you'll never get that from me, because I've edited video. You'll never get that from me.
He's like, that's real.
Oh, listen, I just tasked him with something the other night and I knew how long it was going to take. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm so sorry, bro. I literally led with the apologies. I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry. I want to go back though, because it's so crazy, because you're right. Like he's got something to add. He's got, and we all do. And I love what Melissa said, because if you think about like this is crazy how when you get into this game, there's a lot of like the encouragement that people are like, okay, you have enough to share. You've done enough. Like you've done plenty. You're qualified. But then there's this idea of getting into a space and understanding that so many underqualified people are doing it, right? So you're like, if they're teaching people how to grow businesses and to build businesses, then I can damn sure teach people how to build businesses.
That's what got me in it.
Right. So that's that. I know. And I don't know, like, I what Melissa, because she was just sharing on this exact topic. I don't know how much that was an influence on her either.
Right.
So I want to, if she's still on the live, I'd love to see her answer to that. So
she left. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
She'll be back.
But my thing is, no, that's 100% the reason why I even started talking about this stuff, because one, I didn't know that. I never thought I wanted to dive into helping people with their businesses. Right. Like I love doing business. I love the entrepreneurship space, right? Like I love the idea of being creative and doing your thing and helping people and serving people the way you're going to help and serve them, and like seeing that impact and how it can change things around you and even further, right? Like I love that, and how to solve problems. Like I love that puzzle, right? But it was teaching people to do that. I was like, like sometimes it's like not every great ball player is a great coach.
Oh, for sure.
Right. 100%. Jordan, Bird, like most of them were great ball players, horrible coaches.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's a difference between being able to complete a task and then being able to teach someone else to do a task that you spent so much. It's like why Kobe said he never wanted to be a coach. Right. He was like, I coach my daughter, and that's about it. And I try not to do that often. And he said it's because you do something so much, it becomes repetition. It becomes instinct. Right.
Yeah.
It's just nature, right.
Yeah.
It's just boom, 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 boom. I know this. And then like someone's like, well, why that? And you're like, right. And it's by some point you become, because that's what we do. And that's not a good coaching answer.
No, it's not.
Right.
No.
Right. So then when it becomes that point, you lose the ability to really teach someone to get to the next level.
That's so deep, because like that's the idea of when people like ask you, they ask you to speak at something and you're not a speaker, like you don't have the desire to speak. But you're being asked to speak at something, right? It's the same thing. It's like, okay, I can do this, but that doesn't mean I can teach other people to do this. And I love the fact that you brought up Kobe, because I watched an interview recently and he was like, they were talking about Shaq, and he was like, if Shaq, he said, how good could Shaq have been if he was in the gym as much as, and Kobe was like, Shaq, the greatest of all time. Right. Easy. Shaq will tell you that. If he spent half as much time as me in the gym, he'd be the best ever. But it was man. That's why I love like these stories of people where the grit, like it's different for somebody who was built, like God created this man to be a beast on the basketball court versus somebody who's undersized, not fast enough, not, all those things, and then becomes the greatest. And that's the crazy thing for me. But being able to harness that and teach that, that's a tough thing, especially to the point where you're saying like, I've worked so hard to master this craft. I didn't work this hard to master this craft with teaching somebody else as the end result.
Mhm.
It was I wanted to be the best at this.
Right.
And so I didn't take notes of how I can teach somebody else the whole way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Right.
what are you going to say? Do it more?
Right.
Right. Like, great coaching. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, it happens. Like, there are people that ask me to coach, and that's just not, I don't want to coach.
Right.
So I partner with somebody that can coach. You know what I mean? But to a certain, I'm joking, but to a certain degree, that's it. Like, I don't know that I can. I mean, I'll mentor you because I don't feel like, and maybe this is something that I got to work on, but I don't feel right to charge you on something, not because I can't teach you on it, because I can't commit to teaching you on it.
Yeah.
Right. Michael Hudson's in the house.
Hey,
What up, Mike?
Hudson.
What up, Hud?
Excited to see
Everybody
you in
trying to
2
be like
days.
Mike.
Everybody looked at the door like he was really here. Michael Hudson's in the house.
Come on in, bro. Did you bring some water?
I thought he was going to be here tonight, but he's not. No.
Also, shout out Aquafina.
It
Sponsor us.
And also Silver Falls.
It does say silver.
Sponsor us.
He says starts with realizing that you can. Once you know you can, the possibilities are endless. Right. And then Melissa was here and she did respond. She said, I saw the problem these other providers were having at making neurofeedback successful. She had to throw in her thing. Right. No, I'm kidding.
Good branding.
Shameless
Bro. Good
plug.
branding.
Shameless plug.
Right.
Do it, girl.
Neurofeedback successful in their business. So I created a 3-month consulting program to help. And it was through Unleash You Now that was created. Right. Give props to Unleash You Now for being part of that.
For sure.
All right. So they didn't have to make the same mistakes I did when I first started my business. Right. So there's people that have been doing neurofeedback longer than her. She's like, I'm not helping you. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to help the people that were me 7 years ago, where I was taking lumps and bruises and losing money and sleep. Right. It's because this is one of the things that kills me in the space. And I'm saying on the topic that you were kind of talking about, and then ask that question about who does what. Right. I dislike the fact when someone's like, I'm going to teach you Facebook marketing. I'm going to teach you YouTube ads. I'm going to teach you Google SEO, right? All these things are cool. I'm going to teach you how to build an email list. I'm going to help you build a website, right? Like I'm going to show you how to do a funnel or a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, right? Like I'm going to show you how to do all these things, and they all could be very useful. They're all tools, right? But here's the deal. Like if you're not selling, that shit's useless. You're going to lose money because you didn't learn the foundation of the business, right? I always say this is why I'm lucky. I didn't learn internet marketing. I didn't learn Facebook marketing. I learned marketing, right? So whatever platform, if it's a newsletter I send to your house or an envelope or me knocking on your door or me making a Facebook post, right? Like, or making a video, I know how to market. Right. So I can take those strategies and tactics and implement them everywhere. A mailer to a house is now an email letter. Right. Like they're not, this isn't crazy. Like we didn't reinvent. We advanced. Right. So when you learn how to do it, like when you learn how to do business, then you could take that and go wherever you're comfortable. If you like LinkedIn, go on LinkedIn. If you like TikTok, go on TikTok. Right. Like wherever it is that you like, feel comfortable and feel like you really feel like yourself and get to really express what you are and how you do it. Right. Go to that platform. You don't have to be everywhere. You can start one place, right? Like everybody knows Facebook's where I'm at, right? Like you'll see some things on Instagram, you see some things on TikTok.
It used to be where I was at,
right? Right. That was too soon. Sorry. Right. But it's like, so you build the foundations of business, right? And that stuff you can take everywhere, like knowing who you deal with, like who you serve the best or the most or the one you want the most. How do you do it? What do you do for them? Those things, they can be interchangeable wherever you are. So people, rather than teaching you how to do business, they're teaching you a tool to use in business that your business isn't built for yet. And that's where I was like, people are wasting tens of thousands of dollars on ads that didn't know how to do an ad.
Exactly.
I was just going to say that. So you're saying like, if you're not hitting organically, you're not going to hit at all
right
anywhere paying for it.
I
love that. We
used to call the food court test.
We used to do that. Yeah.
Be like, yo, go into the mall, stand on a table in the food court and start saying what you can do for someone. If no one's interested or pays attention to you, your messaging isn't that good. Because everybody's going to look at someone standing on the fucking table.
You gotta be careful what you tell that man to do.
Right? So, listen, and you'll
I whispered into the mic, slide through. This motherfucker showed right up. You know what I mean? So
don't test me, Robert.
Don't test me, Robert.
Listen, his thing too, people will buy it in the mall.
Yeah.
Right? Like my thing, people are gonna be like, fuck you. Right? Like, but if you can't craft a message that gets people attention while standing on a table in the middle of a food court, you don't have a message.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like we used to call the food court message. No one looks, you don't got something yet. Right? Like it's like creating an offer. An ad doesn't help your offer. your offer has to be good, and then an ad magnifies it to more of your people to them to buy from you, right? Like we're putting the cart from the horse, but the horse doesn't know how to push it.
I like it.
And I actually want to touch back to when you said the people that don't know if they're qualified enough or, aren't really sure if, that's something that they should do. I mean, everybody in this room pretty much knows that I have that mindset with like, oh, I'm going to, stay in the background. And one day Michael has said it to me 80,000 times, but it was the 80,001 time where he said, how many people are going to struggle and alone and die waiting for you to come around and fucking teach them what you know? How many people are you going to let struggle not knowing your message or what you do just because you're in your own fucking way?
See, that goes back to what we're talking about again, that ground and that moral obligation. See, it's funny because Mike talked about this earlier about how when he walks on stage, I guess he envisions punching everybody in the face.
I was like, okay, good thing I'm backstage. Jesus.
It's for me, it's something different, and it's the belief in that message. So to your point, right? It's like, man, I always joke, but if you were in a stadium, right? Let's say a football stadium, right? Because what's that? What's an average football stadium attendance?
No idea.
30,000?
I don't watch.
I was gonna say,
50?
at least
20 to 30, I think.
20.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 20.
So like, let's say you're there, right? And there's like, you discover that there's a bomb in the building. All right.
Jesus.
Okay.
Wow.
It's crazy, right? You're out.
Very.
But okay, you discover there's a bomb in the building, and right there's an intercom button also. Like, are you going to hesitate to hit that intercom
No,
button?
absolutely not. Yeah.
Right,
I'm
because
telling every motherfucker in there.
We're all
Because
gonna
why?
die, Ron.
because you can save
Because
lives.
you can save lives.
Because
right.
you can change lives.
Right.
Right. So for me, like, I know that what I want to share, my message can save lives. It can change somebody's course of direction.
Right.
So this isn't about Bobby Jones going on that stage. It's about my moral obligation to get this message out. See,
So-
I found the way. And like, I found a way out.
Right.
And I definitely got to share that with people who are trying to find their way out.
No, you even put it on a Facebook comment. Like it was just like, what causes entrepreneurs to have such confidence when it comes to sales? And you literally put on there like, I am doing such a good job for these people. It is my moral obligation to make sure that they don't get it from somebody else that's going to screw them over.
Right.
And that's it, man. And when and this is so like, it can get like, I use this across my businesses because there's actual belief and actual moral obligation. You can't take this to something and just switch your mindset.
Right.
It actually has to be of that big of value.
Right.
It has to be that big of an impact. It can't be, oh, well, I'm going to sell really good hot dogs and it's going to be my moral obligation to sell this hot dog to somebody walking down the street.
Right.
But my point is like, it has to be that impactful. It has to be something that's going to move somebody, alter somebody's life for you to just know that you're going to, it becomes a commitment.
Right.
No, that's fantastic.
I want to say Hannah McClure
Hannah
made an appearance.
Hannah,
Said,
what's up, girl?
So true, Margaret.
I
And
love
then
you.
Mary G said, Margaret, exactly same. And
Thank
my
you.
mom said, at least he is not stripping. I don't know where that came from, but
No, but I love
It's
that you
early,
said that.
Mom.
give us time. Give us
Because
time.
that's something that hits hard with me, especially. And I think a big thing when he was like, you need to get out of your own fucking way because people are struggling. I kind of like made that first, like, if anyone knows me, I'm very, I am behind the scenes, but I started kind of putting posts out. And then I had people, and it kind of like confirmed that, reach out to me and be like, that idea never even crossed my mind. And you know how much my client would pay me just to do exactly what you're saying, or how creative something you can be in an event, how big that is for, a planner or whoever it is in the space where you feel like you're holding back from. Like, that just kind of confirmed it for me, where I was like, oh, fuck, I have been letting people struggle because I haven't been using my message. And I still struggle with that now, but I think you just have to fucking do it and see what result you get from it. Because that's big, is like, I feel like majority people feel like, why would anyone listen to me?
Well,
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
what's crazy is because I remember when you put a Master Networks group together, and I'm pretty sure you were like hedging it over at the Wild Quail center. Like there was a wild
Yeah.
there was a wild
The
quill.
event. The event of the Wild
league.
Quill,
Oh,
yeah.
the mixer.
And I remember the
Master
mixer. And you
Network.
were in charge
That's
of
right.
that, and you were worried about. You were coming up to Bobby and Mike, and you're just like, "How do you think things went?" You killed it.
Thank you.
Seriously, I
remember
talked
that,
about
like-
yeah. That's crazy that you remember that. By the way,
Thank you.
I pay attention.
Well, hey, I want to make sure everyone's enjoying themselves. You know, that's
No,
my.
I thought it was like the event was amazing, and the fact
Thank
that you were
you.
even second guessing yourself is just amazing to me. In that, like,
Thank you.
yeah. I mean, by the way, like I literally had to do nothing. It was my event. I had to do nothing. I just showed up and like it was a hit. But
Thanks.
yeah, it is crazy. But it's funny because there's another Master Network story at Wild Quail that goes right back to that same thing. When I first joined, I walked into a group full of like there was an attorney, there was a chiropractor, there was, and here I am as a roofer walking into this country club, and everybody's in like not suits, but at least like button ups and ties and shit. And I'm walking in there like I'm in the wrong room. But when you get around, it doesn't matter if it's Master Networks or if it's something else. When you get around the right people, it doesn't matter how they're dressed, right? You quickly will know who's your people and who's not.
Right.
Are you dressed, Patrick?
I actually love it.
Underneath my
I
clothes,
love that
I'm
you said that
completely
because
naked. Sorry.
At Michael used to get dressed to the freaking T every day at the office, and then finally he was like, I am not attracted. Like, my person's gonna be my fucking person, whether I'm wearing sweatpants, a sweatshirt, or a suit.
Yeah. The best thing about me
And
is
so
gonna be my
that's
fucking
why
outfit.
he now speaks in whatever the fuck he wants to speak in, because it's like,
Now
if
people
my
have to-
sweatpants don't attract you from what I'm saying, then you're not my person.
Right. If you're like, I can't listen to this dude looking at he's wearing sweats. If that's what you want, if you want fashion, don't talk to me. You're 100% right. Right. Like I wear a backwards hat every day. I got 6 teeth on the top of my mouth. I don't know how many on the bottom, but it's more. All right. And there's right. But it's like if that's what you're listening to me for, you have the wrong person. Don't do that. Right. But if you want information in this area, that I can give you. So the most valuable thing for me is not going to be what I'm wearing. Right. Like I'm not going to talk to you about you should follow me because I have this on or I have a Rolex or a Rollie. Like there's none of that that's going to happen for me. It's going to be like, if we're talking about this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to stand on what I know. And that's what we're going to talk about. And if it's not, then I'm probably not the person for you. And that's fine. What you said about what I said to you, I have to give credit to, because that was said to me because, and I talked about this at Master Networks this morning.
Oh, wow.
And I said, where I came from and how we were was you rode with your people. You stayed with them, right? Like you weren't a sellout, right? If you left, then you were a sellout, right? And we would pull each other, pull, like, come on. So when I was like, yo, I don't want to be in this life anymore. I want to turn to this life. I want to put everything in here, right? Like we're going to do this thing. There was people that were from that life, right? That then were like, yeah, cool. Like we'll do it. And like every business we ever started, everybody was like, yeah, cool. And then, only like a couple of them, if any, will follow through. But it was always like, we do it together. And I would never let them go. Right. Like I hang on. Yep. So it was because it says something about who I am. And finally someone was like, yo, you care about people? I was like, yeah. They're like, you care about changing this game, like changing the way people look at it, making sure people know they can do different with their life. I'm like, yeah, that's what I care about. Like I bleed this shit. Like they're like, yeah, you want to stop suicide and self-injurious behavior? I'm like, yes. Right. Like stop fucking questioning me. Yes, I want to do it. Right. And the guy's like, huh, that's interesting. Then why don't you go? Why do you stay back? I'm like, because if that's what you want to do, someone that's struggling with that is up here and you're not getting to them. So you're going to let them go to what? For someone that doesn't give a shit and doesn't care to go, to stay back with them? What's the point? Let them do their journey. Go do yours. And it was that when he said, like, someone's on that road dying.
Yeah.
Because you are being too much of a coward to take the step forward.
For
I was
sure.
like, oh, fuck that. Like, I ain't no coward, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'll go forward. All right. So, and that's literally how we're here, is because that person said that to me. And I was like, fuck it, we got to go. All right. So if people go with, cool. If they don't, I understand.
Yeah.
Love you.
And see,
Peace. Wish you
that's
best.
where I was going to go when you were talking about that water thing. And I was like, the people closest to you,
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
no,
bro,
fuck
because
that.
they can, you know what I mean? And what's so
Snakes
interesting about what
everywhere.
you're talking about, I think it still goes back to the amount of desire, right? Because we still have people all the time talking about, I want to help people, right?
Right.
Cool. How bad do you want to help people,
Right.
right? Because that's the difference with all things, right? Like, because you could say that about whatever in basketball. Cool. You want to be a champion. I hear you saying that, but how bad do you want to be a champion? Are you putting in the work? Because I don't see you in the gym putting in the work. You know what I mean? And so it's all about the degree of desire. And if you compare that with the impact,
Right.
bro, it's a crazy thing that can happen for sure. Now, the other side of that is caring about what other people think. And somebody brought it up when we first started talking about that willingness to be uncomfortable.
Mm.
Because see, when your boy, right, has been leaning on you, and now you're about to say, hey, look, bro, I got to go because there's something bigger calling me. You know what I mean? Are you willing to do that? Because if you truly, care about that, you got to be willing to sacrifice this.
100%. Also, like, this is a question I have, right? Because I think I got so into being uncomfortable. Now that's comfortable. Right? Like, I got so into being extreme, going the extra mile, going farther, going harder, trying something new, right? Learning, embracing, executing, seeing how it goes, right? That now it's like, that's typical now. So it's like, I'm like, is that like, I'm comfortable being in the uncomfortable position, right? Like, I'm comfortable having these tough conversations. I'm comfortable being on stage talking to people now, right? Like, it's not uncomfortable anymore. So I'm like,
shaking my head.
is that a problem? Right? Like, so I sit
It's a
back
problem
and go,
because
huh,
I don't think it's accurate.
what do you mean?
Ooh.
What do you mean?
So let me ask you this, sir.
Yep.
Do you think in those 24 wonderful hours that you do have
Mhm.
that you couldn't be doing something more than
Always
you
could do
currently
more.
do?
Always.
Right.
Right.
So my thing is
I
like,
mean, I could play more
bro,
Xbox. I'm comfortable. doing that.
Quantre and I just had this conversation the other day, and a lot of people that's listening know my story, right? About having to put that suit on and just showing up for that job interview, right? And this was me going the extra mile, right?
Mhm.
And so we're talking about this. I never stopped that shit. Like, I never stopped that shit, but it's still, to me, it didn't become like the normal shit. Like, the normal shit is still above what most people will do, because I feel like our success is, there's a Brian Tracy quote. I bought into it. That's why I say I feel like, but your success in life will be in direct proportion to what you do after you do what you are expected to do. Right. So like, you have a minimum requirement.
Right.
And
It's
then
like a 2-hour practice in a day.
you do
That's your
that,
minimum requirement.
and it's everything over top of that
Right.
that will be an investment
be the
back in your
separate.
future, right? And so, cool. But if that becomes your norm, then you have to continue to challenge yourself even harder for the thing that's still the extra mile, that goes above and beyond,
Right.
that challenges you, makes you uncomfortable.
Right.
And so, so let me just share one quick experience, because this literally happened just the other day. And so like, when I tell people that this is something I live, like, I mean it. Like, I really, even at the point, a lot of people look at my life and they're like, oh, this dude made it. Like, what? Bro, I'm just getting fucking started. And so, and I say that, again, with, I don't mean to come off arrogant or cocky at all, because I truly believe like I am just getting started. But anyway, I had a desire to speak specifically for a certain organization, because the people that were being taught in that area were my people. Okay. And so I was like, man, I really want to impact those people. And so one of the things that I was doing, I was talking to that organization about a business or an offering that they have that would benefit Brightside. Okay. And so I was talking to them about that. And while I'm on the Zoom call and this guy's trying to pitch me on the product, I'm literally like, hey, real quick, before we hop off the call, who books your guys' talent for your speaking gigs and stuff like that, your conferences? And like, quickly and like matter of factly, he was like, oh, it's some girl named Shelly, but that's above my pay grade type of thing. Right. I got off the call. I Googled Shelly with this organization. Boom, got her first and last name, but no email, no contact information, right? And so then I was like, let's revert back to their email structure. I took a look at the email structure and I'm like, okay, they do first dot this, and so typed up a well thought out email, fired it off, bounced right back. And I'm like, dang, right? So here's something, right? That was going the extra mile. It didn't work. Move on, right? Get the next one. Get the next one. We'll try again.
Yeah.
Nope. I literally looked at the email structure again, tried again, fired that one off. No bounce back this time. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll see what happens. No answer. 5-6 days goes by. Bam, I get this answer. And it's literally an email saying, we are absolutely interested in having you on stage. Please reach out to this person directly. Here's their number. We want to get you as a speaker on this at our next conference. So my thing is like, man, it's like, when you want something bad enough, you'll continue to challenge and continue to go after it. I know you do a ton of that, and I'm sure that you can give me 1,000 examples of that. I would just say that if that's become a norm, I think there's something past that.
Right. You want me to say more to that? I said,
I mean, this is a open debate, sir. I welcome it.
I didn't know it was a debate.
And I could be, by the way, I could be wrong.
All right.
I'm willing to be wrong.
I think if this, and this is why if challenging the status quo, if not accepting the opposite result of what you were going for is your typical, right? Then that's not challenging. That's what you do.
Say that again.
So
I get what you're saying.
Right. If doing that exact thing is your typical, right? If going the extra mile is your typical, if not accepting a result that's not the result you set out for is your typical, is it uncomfortable? Because then it's your norm, right? Like my norm is fight until I get my result, right? Like we talk about results first, right? Like I'm a result-oriented person. I want the result, right? How we get there, like that, I don't need the credit. We don't need to do it my way, right? Like, look at the logo, right? The my N was fucked up, but the idea was the idea is like it's I want that result. So I'm very result driven. So to get that result, my typical is to keep going, another way. Get that email, didn't work. I would have went on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, right? TikTok. I would have started where I'm most popular, right? So they would see I'm popular, right? I wouldn't go to where I ain't nobody, right? I got 47 people on my TikTok. Look at me. I'm cool. All right. So we would do those things because that's typical for us. That's not uncomfortable for me. That was weird. Right. But it sounded like someone got smacked, like spanked. Right. No. So anyway.
Open the wrong browser there,
Right.
Pat.
That was uncomfortable.
No. I was gonna follow it.
Oh, TikTok thing, heartbroken.
No, this is my third account.
Damn, I should have went TikTok live. I forgot.
Oh,
Damn, I'm
shit.
bugging.
dang.
All right. But the
Y'all gotta
idea
check
is like,
me, man.
if that's your typical, if that's your norm,
That would've
is it
been the extra
uncomfortable
mile.
for you, right? Like my uncomfortable. These are things that like a couple years ago, I was going through. I went through numerous trainings, right, and certificates, because God forbid you don't have a paper that says you could do something, right? Which I don't. But anyway, it's weird. I always get right to the end and I'm like, fuck it, I don't want it, and I don't do the next thing to get it, right? And I've done it numerous times. But I did it with IPEC as well. I was at IPEC, and one of the challenges where I actually was like, I want to do this because this will be uncomfortable for me, is you have to be the last to speak in the room in any room you're in.
Ooh.
Right? Fucking tough, right? So now
I need to go through that.
I'm doing this, and it was like for 1 month, be the last to speak, listen to every single other person in the room, and then speak at the end, right? And actually listen, right? So I'm supposed to go to this training for coaching the week after it's over. We find out I have a game that I'm supposed to go to that weekend, so we have to move it a week up. So now it's the last weekend of the challenge, right? If I fuck it up, I got to start over. Right. So I'm like, fuck. All right. So I'm in this room. Everyone's a stranger. Right. I don't know a single person in the room. And I cannot speak until everybody in the room speaks. So they're like, what's your name? And I'm like, right. And they're
Did you
like,
wear a name tag?
yeah.
Yes.
And they're like, all right. And they ask you a question. I'm like, they're like, it's not yes or no. Right. Like, and I'm like, and so then like no, everybody's like, all right, like so now everybody thinks I'm a straight lunatic, right? And like people are coming up and complimenting me, and I'm like, right, because I have to be. And there's one dude in the room that hasn't spoken yet, right? So finally, I was just like, I wrote a note and I said, you have to speak so I can, right?
It's cheating.
Right? And the guy
I'm just
goes,
kidding.
and the guy looks at it, he goes, what? I was like, thank you so much. Anyway, so what you asked me earlier, and I started rambling
It's
off,
going around.
right?
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, and all of a sudden one guy was like, why didn't you just say this earlier? I'm like, I only can speak if everyone else speaks, right? So then the next 2 days of training, everybody would come in and say something so that I could speak earlier, right? But it was that, like, those things are, but I look for those uncomfortable situations to challenge myself, to make me better, right? Because then I found out the power of listening. Right. Because I didn't appreciate listening like I should have before that. Right. I would always want to respond. I always want to say my thing over it. Right. Like I've been messing with Margaret a lot recently, because Margaret's in this thing now where she wants to be heard.
Right.
Right. So she'll speak over you. She'll interrupt you. Right. She'll talk. Like
It's not intentional.
yesterday she did it to you a couple times at Yesterday she did to you a couple times at dinner. We were like
Right.
trying to say a story, and then she would break in and say it, and then you were like, all right, back to what I was saying, right? And I was like, ha, 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 it's not just me, right?
You
But it's like,
created this monster.
right? But it's like she wants to be heard now. So she's like, no, listen, right? And it's like, and I'm like, cool, right? But how are you creating the atmosphere for your listener?
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm trying to tell and you won't let me say anything, I'm not actively listening now. I'm pissed off that I can't say anything. Right. So it's like when I became a listener, I understood what listeners wanted, which I was never in that position before, where I was like, oh, this is what the listener is thinking. This is what they're going through. This is how they're comprehending. Right. So it's like, if you always actively look for uncomfortable situations, is that uncomfortable? Because that's your norm now. And that scares me.
Right. But it's a self-contradiction, right?
Right. Because then it scares me, because then I'm like, what do I do now to revert from my typical or norm to adjust and grow? Because if this is my norm, I just keep doing this, I'll keep going down that one thing, but I won't see any other things. Right. So then where's the, all right, this is what I have to do to challenge myself now, because now being uncomfortable is comfortable for me.
So what aren't you doing?
Right. I got to figure it out.
I mean, that's it.
I got to
right?
play video games more.
You don't know what you don't know.
What? Yeah. What aren't you doing?
I got to play video games that I don't know I haven't played yet and play them.
Yeah.
That would be
No.
uncomfortable.
So think about, like, for me, like,
I was trying to get you on my side as a co-signer. You didn't say no, but you didn't say yes. It might be. I mean, whatever. There you go.
so you know the story, like the Brandon Dawson story, right? With Grant Cardone.
Yes.
And you know how that whole thing came to be, right? Did you break it?
No, it's fine. It was just there's a little hick in it, and I didn't want to think I broke it, so it didn't break. I just wanted to make sure that it was still cool. So anyway, go ahead. Tell the story for
I
those
was
that
actually
don't know.
looking for the brand so we could get another sponsor request. You know what I mean?
Right.
But all we got is
Aquafina.
Shure mics. I don't know what
I'll go finish it. I'll go finish.
I don't know what the brand of the boom arm is.
I've been trying to get Wawa.
Oh, there-
Only time Evan talks is
Yeah.
to say
I know, Ev, we
Aquafina.
need to hear more from you. He said chill.
Sponsored today.
Sponsored by Nike.
There you
Ev, we need to hear more from you. The crowd needs
Oh,
to
we
hear
Sponsored by
you.
Unleash You Now.
We got some good talk going on. We interrupted Bobby. Go ahead, Bobby.
Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. My question to you is, again, what are you not doing, right? That would be my only question to you. And I know that that's your challenge, but I just say, like, if we're comfortable in the most uncomfortable situations we could have imagined before, then that just means that we got to go outside the box even more.
Mhm.
You gotta go break the norm.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Right.
how do you get out of you? It's like we talk in business, right? For
Mhm.
marketing, especially. Number one thing in marketing is create something that break pattern. Because if we don't break their pattern, there's no chance, right? And then you break their pattern and you stick them, right? The break and stick method. Break their pattern, stick them with whatever your thing is. So you start sticking your person, the one that you can actually solve and help if they go through your thing, right? So it's break and stick. How do we break our pattern to be able to build our life better, right? I'm so used to breaking other people's patterns. It's like, I need to break my pattern, but I need to do it like anybody else. You need to break your pattern, but in a way that'll be effective and useful for you, not just to say you broke it. Because I mean, I'm sure I could do some rails of something and that would break my pattern, but I don't think it would really help me.
Wow.
It escalated, right? Listen, I don't sugarcoat
Escalated.
things.
I see what you mean about your
Mary-
comfort zone being really
Yeah.
expanded.
Yeah. Listen, you know I talk about knuckles all day long.
Oh my God.
Also,
Don't do it,
Mary
bro.
G said legacy, and Sasha said fuck yes.
I want to give a shout out to Mary G. Mary G signed up for our women's retreat. She's never been to an event like that. She actually reached out to me
Her
and
life's gonna be
said,
changed,
I'm
wow.
totally out of my comfort zone doing this. But because I also, talk about getting out of my comfort zone and, of course, our events are also out of my comfort zone as to why she kind of resonated and signed up. So I want to shout her out for getting out of her comfort zone and coming with
Right.
us.
Also,
Yeah, Mary G.
Mary G just got back into basketball. I was just like, yo, don't make me have to school you.
What?
Sit back.
Oh man.
I
So
played a
shout
ba-
out.
I played a basketball match for the first time in probably like 5 years. Like,
I imagine because you just said Matt.
Yeah, you just said.
I played a basketball
I
Matt.
already know. You
I
hate it.
was like- I was like, nice.
I've never felt more out of shape in my entire life.
Oh God, right?
Same.
Basketball's a different type of shape. This is just
Sorry.
like ding, 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 ding. It's like fuck this. Let's
No,
play
but-
half.
I think the only thing that beats that is soccer. Like them
Yeah.
dudes,
Matters
bro.
your position though.
Yeah.
Goalie defense, you're normally staying back.
Yeah.
Right. Because I noticed as I got older, I went from more forward to more back because I was like, fuck that, you run.
Yeah, them
Right?
boys.
But that's how I got my head cracked open.
I have a question for Evan actually, because I want to hear
Ooh,
more
nice.
some Evan, and I think more people need to hear from Evan, the mastermind behind it. Evan, when you created that fire video, if anybody has recently saw it, what was the feeling you wanted people to get? Like, how did you come about creating that?
Well, I mean, originally I just wanted to tell a story. I mean, that's how all videos usually work. But what I was going for is a type of, Mike, stop touching me. A more cinematic type of look, and I wanted people to really get like a feeling of just like, wow, like who are these people? What are they doing? Like, I am interested in this. Like, I need to check out what this is. Like, what are they doing?
Right.
So, I mean, I really just kind of wanted to give them a preview, kind of like a little preview in a cinematic type of way of just like who we are, what we do. And so, yeah, I mean, I just want everybody to kind of just be shocked after they saw the video. I want them to have kind of just like a crazy feeling of, oh wow, I want to do this. I want to join this.
Right, I gotta be there.
Yeah,
I love that.
So definitely a drive to want them to join us. And
for sure.
Right when we were in the room, we kept saying it like the food court. At the Chinese place, they always give you a taste of the orange chicken or whatever.
You keep bringing up the food court, and you're hungry.
What's up with the food court?
We didn't eat before this.
We didn't eat before this.
No,
we were
no
actually
one
going to
DoorDash.
DoorDash.
Can I get you guys a
us.
Cliff Bar?
We were going to DoorDash, but DoorDash didn't sponsor us. I'm just kidding.
Dior
but
Deshay.
they give you that piece of chicken to saying, oh, here's a taste, and you're gonna want more. Right? And Evan was like, I want to create something where they get that taste and they know they want more.
Right.
What I liked most about this video, though, is that it was created around a narration of the people of the mastermind.
Right.
Mastermind
That's dope
group.
as shit.
These are people in the mastermind. So
Right.
what's crazy is when you talk about like I wanted to raise this awareness and a level of curiosity about what this movement's all about. And then to literally have the people of the mastermind and of Unleash You tell that story in the way that they did was crazy.
So
It had
dope.
been one thing for you or Mike to tell, or me or Margaret, or to narrate that whole thing and talk about what we're about. It was another thing to hear the people of Unleash You tell that story.
We're barely in it.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, we're barely in it.
Yeah, I mean,
I was listening to it like, damn, he couldn't use more. I have a good voice. I have a radio voice. I have a face for radio.
So
Well,
is that like your main thing? Is like for graphics and videos, like your recommendation to people is like you want to spark curiosity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially for like new stuff, like new events, or if you're a new product of some kind, like you definitely want to spark that up for sure. But I think it's really important that when you're doing like these promo videos or graphics or whatever it is, like you should have your crew in there. I know me personally, I sometimes forget to add certain people, and that's okay because we all make mistakes. But when we make graphics sometimes and videos, I try to make sure everybody's in it. It's a good little thing to do when you're making these promo videos and stuff like that. So
Michael's face.
yeah,
I don't know what just happened. I don't know who got missed, but
Oh no, I was laughing at
embrace the uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Embrace the
that,
uncomfortable.
embrace that.
No, I was
Yeah, the
no,
handsy stuff's
I
weird,
was
but-
laughing when we forgot to put Alex in the Thanksgiving
Right,
video.
I was gonna say shout out Alex for missing the Thanksgiving video. That's
That's what I was laughing
We gotta
at.
say, Hannah McClure said, I love that.
Yes.
Mary
Yeah,
G.
shout out
thank-
Love it. Shout out Hannah.
Mary G thanked you, Margaret,
Yeah.
and said she is sore from B-ball. Sasha said, fuck yes. Yes, Queen, invest in yourself. Your impact is worth it.
For sure. Yes.
So big.
That was dope.
So big. So before we end though, let's try to help some people clear their way through the fog, right? If they have a message and really have something of impact to make, how can we help them find their way to that point? I don't know what you're doing. This dude,
He's like
he's
so
having
awkward.
he's having fun. I get it, but help me here,
bring
Margaret.
Back the video. Bring
Listen,
back the video. I
just-
didn't do anything.
my life
How
now,
can
I
we,
just live with
how
it.
can we clear our way through this fog, Mike?
Rewind that.
Come to Nashville, April of 2022.
I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta believe in yourself,
Sorry.
Bobby.
Yeah,
At the end of the
absolutely.
day, you gotta believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My thing is, it's like everything we talked about breakdown, right? Get out of your comfort zone, try things, see what works for you and resonates with you, see what doesn't, right? Like you don't have to be part of every cult, right? It's like the biggest thing is let's take complete ownership, right? Like something I love is when someone says, what's the biggest problem with your business? I always say myself. All right. And they're like, what's your biggest problem with your life? I'm like, myself. Right. Like, because anything that's mine is I have to own. Right. Because then I have control. I have power. right? If I'm blaming other people, then I give them the power of my life, right? So I think the first thing is, how do you get through the cloud? Is take ownership of everything. No, the course wasn't the problem, right? How I took the course was the problem, right? Or my thinking of the material was the problem, right?
Can I stop you on that right
Yeah.
quick? Because I've done that.
Mhm.
Like I've gone to
Course wasn't for me,
no, not the course.
right?
But I've
Or an
gone
event.
right. I've gone to an event, right?
Mhm.
And almost, the same. I mean, I don't want to say the same because it was improved every year, but my mindset wasn't.
Mhm.
And so when I went back to that same event, I was like, hey, it's just nothing I don't already know.
Right.
And I
Pitch fest.
walked out.
I've done
right?
that too.
Right.
No, it wasn't a pitch fest.
Right.
It was value brought.
No, I'm saying what
Yeah.
we say.
Yeah. And
Right,
so
things we
like,
say.
yeah, so I was using every excuse in the world to be out in the hallway and go,
Mhm.
do other stuff, be on my phone.
Mhm.
Because my mind, like I literally had counted the content out before I gave the
Mhm.
content an opportunity.
Right, 100%.
For sure.
And so then I go back to that same event and I'm like wowed by this. Like, I don't want to say the same content because again, it was improved, but it's the same company, same organization, same, annual event. I go back and it was only my mindset that changed. So
Sure.
what I'm saying is to your point, like it's you.
Mhm.
It's you every single time.
Right.
If it didn't work, it's you.
Right. Dude, when we go to events, like we normally like challenge ourselves. Get something from the speaker. What are you getting from this presentation?
Yeah.
You have to get something. What is it?
Yep.
Right. And it was like one time it was like, I do not want to create video content like that. Right. Like, but that I saw their process and I was like, that's way too much for me. Like, I can't handle that. So I know I need to figure out my process to make it where I can make my video content work for me. Right. It was like, but you can learn something from everyone. Right.
Mhm.
So what are you getting from them? And it was when it was challenging like that, it made it where I couldn't go and walk out. I couldn't say, fuck this. I couldn't say, this is not useful to me.
Sorry.
Right.
Did you see
What?
my
Yeah.
reaction? Bro?
You're good at jaw
What
dropping.
happened? God.
It timed out.
Scared the
It just
shit
happened
out
out
of
my
me.
peripheral, bro.
Right.
I
You can't
couldn't
do
pull
that.
back.
But-
that
I was like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was a sign. Right. But it's like you're 100% right. It's you. And when we take that, we all of a sudden have a lot of power.
yeah.
Right. There's a lot of opportunity because it's me. It's on me. Right. So I think to get through the cloud, the first thing is it's on you. Right. And then it's like, let's go experience things. Let's go try things. Let's digest stuff and see how it feels. Right. Because it's one thing to be like, nah, that one's not going to work. That's going to work. Did you digest it? Right. Like if you took it and digested it and was like, all right, this isn't for me. Cool. What is? Right. Next thing. Right. But I think it all starts with you.
Yeah,
And that's some powerful shit if you really think about it.
for sure. Any other thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
No, I like that. I like what you just said. When you said especially when you were talking about the event thing, when you were like, I've done this before, like I heard everyone tell me, especially, all of you guys say 80,000 times to me, you can help someone, but it just took that 80,000 one time of my mindset switch to actually get out of my own fucking way. So, I mean, that would be my recommendation to someone who feels like, they're stuck or in a fog. It's like, what are you doing within to push you forward? Would be mine.
Believe in yourself.
Go ahead, Patrick.
So one big thing that
Grab the mic. Grab the mic.
So one big thing that I want to like step on is you being constantly in an uncomfortable zone, always making that your social norm and stuff like that. So how are you going to push past yourself? You being a coach, are you coachable? Or are you going to be able to have somebody show
Ooh,
you-
I love that.
Yeah, are you going to be able to have somebody help you out to push yourself past
For
that?
sure.
Oh,
I think this space, people, they think like coaches especially,
And I already
they
knew
think
your
they're
answer.
above it. Or, like, how can you expect to coach someone and you don't have a coach? Like, you're not coachable.
Right.
Why would anyone believe
There's a
you?
lot of people that fight with me when I make that post.
Yeah.
If you're a coach and you don't have a coach, you're a fraud. They're like, no. You don't always need a coach. I'm like, if you're a coach and you believe that's
Or a
the best
mentor.
vessel, then why would you not have a coach?
it's like a conflict of interest,
Right.
right?
I agree.
Seriously.
It is.
How are
Like-
you going to get that outside opinion other than yourself when you're the one showing these people how to do it?
Who's going to
Right.
ask you the questions? Who's going to give you the space? It's like, if you don't have those things,
All-
listen,
Yeah, but
I-
not only that, but
I
like,
always need a coach.
how you gonna convince me that I need a coach
And
and
you
you
don't
don't
have
need a
one?
coach?
How are you selling coaching? And you don't
Right.
have a coach.
Right,
Clearly, it must not be needed.
right, exactly. There's levels to this shit, bro. And I want to know that your coach is better than my coach, which makes you know what I mean? Like,
I want to get to know your coach.
I've met a coach good as me.
Anyway, guys, this was fun. I love doing this. That's actually out of my comfort
we gotta get
zone.
you a high chair though, Margaret.
No, I put myself. I like this is out of my comfort zone, but being lower made me a little bit more comfortable.
We're gonna bring
I
we're gonna
didn't
bring
like
this team
being
up.
right front and center here.
Hold on,
didn't
I
like
need
that.
I need you to experience this real quick though.
Yeah,
what you've been missing out on.
Game changer.
Do you hear me?
See what
Oh
you've been
my
missing
God.
out on.
I can
Oh
fly
my-
twice as
I
high.
tried.
Yo,
what's
that
up?
45-second jaw drop right now.
I know it's like 1
This is
second. But yeah.
crazy. I feel like I'm in like a spaceship or like
Do you hear
you know what I mean? Like this is what I expected when people are going into space and they're in their space suits communicating. This is what I
Oh my
expect it to
gosh.
sound like.
What?
This is dope
If
as
it's
shit.
just that good a quality on the spaceship, then they're
Listen,
killing it up there.
Elon Musk will surprise you.
End of story.
Do you
Elon.
want to switch?
No. You're good. You're good.
I'm telling you, we gotta hold up and AKG. I thought that was
Dang,
the heart
that's
monitor
clarity.
thing.
It was more
baby.
sure.
Clarity.
Not
Yeah,
EKG.
yeah.
Yeah. It was all about the shirt.
We need more
AKG.
Sure. With an H.
And you need to be sure of yourself and get your message
Oh,
out.
Mike Hudson says your best asset is you. Use it.
Ooh, love it.
Mm.
Mic drop.
Wow.
Bang, bang.
Literally, this
That's
is Mike Hudson.
You can't have the name Mike and make those kind of
Good thing
jokes.
you're not a comedy
Right.
coach.
Now you know why I failed at stand up.
But I do want to hear. I know Evan keeps saying believe in yourself, and he just like keeps like that one liner. But Evan, but listen, me and you both go through the
Oh
same
my
thing, and if you know us in
gosh.
Unleash You Now, we both go through.
Look him up like what it is.
We both go through the same thing, and I know Evan within the last year has tremendously got out of his own way and got through a fog
Thank you,
that
Mark.
he was in.
Appreciate
What like how the hell did you do that? Tell people.
Well,
Mic drop.
you know, I just kind of. So the original question is, how did I believe in myself? Truly, can we get all these? I don't know. It's more so just like a mindset. I kind of just got past the point where it's like it's. I felt like I was hitting a wall constantly, and I could not break through that wall. So then eventually, when I got through to myself that I can do this, I can do what I'm good at, and what my purpose is. That's when I was able to break through that wall and believe in myself and what I can do. So now it's just a matter of getting better from there and growing. So I broke through that wall. Broke through that wall. Break that wall.
I'd love to hear from Evan.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.
Sasha says, love you guys so much. And Mary said, this has been so fun. I've been snort laughing.
I love that.
I love it. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. Some of you guys were in here for I don't even know how long we did this, but some of you guys
2
were-
hours.
Shout out
Hours.
Jesus. Shout out everybody in the
I am
comments.
hungry.
Love y'all.
I'm hangry. No, but
I was hungry
the-
before we
some
started.
of you guys have been sticking with us for like 2 hours. That's freaking
So are we
amazing.
doing this every?
Every Tuesday we are, guys.
Yeah, every Tuesday.
So what time
For
are we
the
at?
most
What time do we
part.
go live tonight? What
8
time?
o'clock we
But
started.
we
So we'll
gotta
be
go
a lot
earlier.
next
We
time.
gotta be
So
earlier.
everybody be ready.
Yeah, 7. We get here at 6:30. 30 minutes to
7:15.
Let me know when to show up in the middle of
7:15.
you see us live, you get your ass over here. The light is on. You're coming home.
I was just like, should I show up? And I was like, Bobby told me to come.
Yeah, and so
100%.
Bobby told me.
now
to.
we'll,
He
sw-
owns the building.
we'll stay tuned and tune in each week because we're gonna like y'all can call in. We could
Oh,
talk
hell
to
yeah.
y'all through the
Right.
like,
For
and so
sure.
be
If
interactive,
you're in
keep
the area,
commenting,
Stop in.
stop
Stop
on by.
in.
But like literally, we want this to be objective driven, which means that like the best way to do that is going to be to answer questions and to feed off of your guys' comments and your energy
Right.
so that we
We
can
want this
go
to
in
be
that
interactive.
direction.
Yeah.
We
Right.
want
Interactive.
we want it to help. We want it to
Damn right.
interact. Yeah.
Damn right. We want it to be about the people, for the people, and of the people.
And we're gonna there'll be some other team members too with Unleash You Now. It's not gonna be the same people every
Right,
week.
right.
But so we'll be funneling out some people, which will be dope just to hear different perspectives every week.
And you got to come and meet Quarantino. Quarantino? Quarantino?
Quantre.
Quantre.
No, the guy, the big director, the movie director that everybody loves.
Quentin.
Thank you.
It's Tarantino.
Oh wow!
His
Clearly,
name
I
is
knew that
Quentin.
one. Clearly, I knew that one. Huh?
Tarantino.
There's a Q in it at
Get
all.
him for his director knowledge and his comedy.
Right.
The first time, he was like this.
Quarantino.
Can you say though, Michael? I tried to save himself with the
Quentin
actor thing.
Quarantino.
He was actually probably trying to say
I
his
was
name.
really trying to say director because he's behind the scenes. He's the director.
Yes.
Right? That's why I was saying.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Nah, it was just funny.
I pushed the shit out of
Yeah,
that.
he said that name. He didn't even move. He was looking at his phone.
Yeah, I wonder who the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah. This weird motherfucker.
Someone really needs to check their name, Quarantino.
Awesome stuff.
This guy, man.
Woo. All right, I'm crying.
Yeah, that's
No, I'm good. Do we have
Send us
anything
out,
else?
man.
We
Send us
good?
out.
No, that's
That's
it. Go
up.
ahead.
Oh,
Extra Mile.
listen, look, hey, it is what it is. Next time, same place, same time next week.
Same place, knuckleheads.
We'll be here. That's it. That's your knuckles.
And different topics every week. We don't want to stick with the same
and
topic every week.
Aquafina, though, every
Yeah,
week.
so
Not
so
Yeah,
go into the
whoever wants to
comments. If you guys want to
sponsor
hear
us.
us dive into some conversation specifically, comment that and we'll be sure to direct our conversation in that way.
Oh, Mondays, I'll put out the mailbag and let people send questions
What
in.
is
that
a
they
What about
want.
the
mailbag?
female bag? That's sexist.
What's a mailbag?
The mailbag that the mailman carries, so people
Oh
put mail
wow,
in it.
old school.
No,
You're
mail-
showing your age, sir.
Mailmen still carry a mailbag. Just saying, walking around Georgetown, I see him every day.
No, it's
What is this? Blues Clues?
Thank
This
you,
Blues
Quarantino.
Clues. Here's the mail. It
I
never
was talking
fails.
about the reference.
Thank you, Quarantino. He knew it.
Very old
Jesus
school
Christ.
reference.
He got a whole new name now.
That's the
Dude.
beauty behind this. You got the new and old school.
Ah!
He's like, I'm never coming to do this again with you guys.
Oh, we're videoing.
What up?
Yo, he's
Hey.
gonna use. I was froze. I was doing the mannequin challenge. I didn't know. So I was gonna say he's gonna take that picture and use it every week and post it.
Like I'm here.
I'm here. Where you guys at?
Where y'all at?
All right, let's go. Hey guys, it's been fun. It's been a blast. So tune in next week. We'll have some more fun with you guys. Bring questions, bring comments. Comment below. Let us know what you guys want us to dive into. And
We
if you
love
want
you.
us to change the subject topic at all, we want to go there. So let us know.
We love you guys.
Oh yeah, the you.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
So clever. Is it off?